Get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons. God, get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha.
Strike and smash. God, take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy.
Ha ha.
Can't beat my daddy.
The devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. The king of disease. My daddy. The king of death.
Victory. Smashed it with your iron rod. Smashed it.
God, my daddy. I do not care what doctors say. I don't care what Arizona says. I care what Pennsylvania says.
Strike and smash. God, take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my daddy.
The devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. They can't beat my daddy. This is the highest level witchcraft and manipulations. Massive warfare, massive witchcraft. A feminine spirit told me about a guy who was rah, rah, rah until the news started saying things. And all of a sudden he said, well, Trump should have humbled himself. Well, things would have been different if. Things are different only when God says they are different. I don't care. I do not care. I don't care what the media says. I care what Arizona says. I care what Pennsylvania says. I care what states say. I care what government says. I certainly don't care what doctors say, teachers say, businesses say.
We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha.
Strike and smash. God, take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy.
Strike and smash. God, take your iron rod. God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my daddy. Devil said what? God, now is the time.
They can't beat my daddy.
Strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound. I strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound. Amanda ata raka deda baka santa ata. Amanda ata raka deda baka santa ata. From Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here from South America. Angelic forces, angelic reinforcement. And strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound. I strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound. Amanda ata raka deda baka santa ata. Hika kata ata. Ema bata rata ate eke. In Africa right now. From Africa right now. From Africa right now. From Africa right now.
The one cry feeling, feel this election. The media's covering it up. The one cry feeling, feel this election. The media's covering it up.
Get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons. Get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
The one cry feeling, feel this election. The media's covering it up. The one cry feeling, feel this election.
Jesus.
The media's covering it up.
Frickin'
They want our freedom for the world. Give us our freedom, Joe Biden, for the world. The media's covering it up.
Get
Stealing that.
Get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons. God, get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha.
Strike and smash. Take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. The king of disease. My daddy. The king of death.
Victory.
Smashed it with your iron rod. Smashed it.
God, my daddy. I do not care what doctors say. I don't care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says.
Strike and smash. Take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. They can't beat my daddy. This is the highest level witchcraft and manipulations, massive warfare, massive witchcraft. A feminine spirit told me about a guy who was rah 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 until the news started saying things, and all of a sudden he said, "Well, Trump should have humbled himself." Well, things would have been different if. Things are different only when God says they are different. I don't care. I do not care. I don't care what the media says. Care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says. Care what states say. Care what government says. I certainly don't care what doctors say, teachers say, businesses say.
We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha.
Strike and smash. Take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy.
Strike and smash. God, take your iron rod. God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my daddy. Devil said what? God, now is the time.
They can't beat my daddy.
Strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound of strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound of manta ata raka deda baka santa ata. Hamanta ata raka deda baka santa ata. From Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here from South America. Angelic forces, angelic reinforcement, and strike the ground. I hear a sound of strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound of manta ata raka deda baka santa ata. Hika kata ata. Ema bata rata ate eke. In Africa right now. From Africa right now. From Africa right now.
The one cry feeling, this election, the media's covering it up. The one cry feeling, this election, the media's covering it up.
Yeah, frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons. Yeah, frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
The one cry feeling, this election, the media's covering it up. The one cry feeling, this election,
Jesus.
the media's covering it up.
Frickin'
They want our freedom for the world. Give us our freedom, Joe Biden, for the world. The media's covering it up. Covering it up. Stealing that.
Yeah, frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons. God, get frickin' raccoons. Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha.
Strike and smash. God, Ricky take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. The king of disease. My daddy. The king of death.
Victory.
Smashed it with your iron rods. Smashed it.
God, my daddy. I do not care what doctors say. I don't care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says.
Strike and smash. God, Ricky take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. They can't beat my daddy. This is the highest level witchcraft and manipulations. Massive warfare, massive witchcraft, a feminine spirit. Told me about a guy who was rah until the news started saying things, and all of a sudden he said, well, Trump should have humbled himself. Well, things would have been different if. Things are different only when God says they are different. I don't care. I do not care. I don't care what the media says. Care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says. Care what states say. Care what government says. I certainly don't care what doctors say, teachers say, businesses say.
We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha.
Strike and smash. God, Ricky take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy.
Strike and smash. God, take your iron rod. God, by the lost daddy. Can't beat my daddy. Devil said what? God, now is the time.
They can't beat my daddy.
Strike the ground. I hear a sound of strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound of mata ata raka deda baka santa ata. Hamata ata raka deda baka santa ata. From Africa right now, from Africa right now. They're coming here from South America. Angelic forces, angelic reinforcement, and strike the ground. I hear a sound of strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound of mata ata raka deda baka santa ata. Tika hata ata. Bema bata rata ate eke in Africa right now. From Africa right now. From Africa right now.
The one cry feeling, feel this election. The media's covering up. The one cry feeling, feel this election. The media's covering up.
Get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons. Get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
The one cry feeling, feel this election.
Yeah.
The media's covering up. The one cry feeling, feel this election.
Jesus.
The media's covering up.
Frickin'
They want our freedom for the world. Give us our freedom, Joe Biden, for the world. The media's covering up. Stealing it.
Get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons. God, get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
God damn freaking raccoons. God damn freaking raccoons. All right, guys. All right. Welcome to the Pitchfork podcast for January 11th, 2021. Happy belated New Year. All right, guys. I hope you're safe and you don't have the coof, as I call it, the coof. You know. Hopefully you don't have the spicy footy flavor. Be spicy is for the flavor, you know. All right, guys. We have a full show for you to plan out today. All right, guys. We did a little bit better with pre-show planning. We're gonna be doing a little bit better with that going forward. Now, guys, the show is all about engagement, so it's all about you calling in and you giving your opinion. I'm not gonna pretend I'm gonna be nice to every opinion, but you will get your say. I will allow you to do that. I will allow you to go to a channel with thousands of people who listen and people who listen for my opinion and for my views. Now, with that being said, guys, if you like the content, hit the like button, share button, let people know that I run this content. Let people know that I run this stream every day for you guys. Every day for you. It's not for me, it's for you. This is not my show, this is your show. All right? And that's why I entertain you and I bring you the news the way it needs to be brought. Not just with, one or two perspectives, but several perspectives. Now, with that being said, guys, if you like the show, hit the like button, hit the share button. I am streaming on Trovo. I am on Twitch. I am on BK. I am on D Live. I'm on Facebook. I'm also on YouTube. On YouTube, I'm known as Devil's Advocate, as you can see here. I am known as Fuse Painter 86 on Twitch, and I'm also known as Devil's Advocate on Twitter. You can follow. You can find me. You used to find me on Parler. Parler is no more, apparently. Try to go to Parler's web address, and they are no more. I am on Gab, though. I am on Minds. I am everywhere. I decided to use the cockroach method because guess what? You can be censored off of any platform at any point. So therefore, you must find yourself on multiple platforms all at once. Now, with that being said, guys, let me know in the comment section, what do you think is going to happen going forward? Do you think these MAGA idiots are going to try this bull crap again? Let me know in the comments. Do you think MAGA will try another terrorist attack? Let me know in the comments. If you don't agree with me calling MAGA terrorists, call into the show and let me know. Let me know how you feel about it if you don't agree with it. Now, with that being said, guys, let's get into the news. Directly into the news. Let's go over to the live scene. All right, I got several tabs already open. A lot of tabs already open. All right. So we're going to get right into the news because, again, I don't like to be around the bush a lot. All right, Capitol Police Chief sought D.C. National Guard help before riots, but was denied by supervisors. Report. All right. And I do want to look at this too, but it's a video from Fox News. I don't want to touch that video because we've been getting hit a lot by these videos. And once again, let me put that on mute. I don't want to keep up to date with the Fox News app. I don't want to do that. Okay. All right, so let's go post this link in the chat. All right, so links in the chat. Fox News, U.S. Capitol Police Chief sought D.C. National Guard help for riots, but was denied, according to a report. The U.S. Capitol Police Chief, who was in charge during last week's deadly riots, reportedly asked his supervisors ahead of time for permission to request that the D.C. National Guard be on standby if the situation spiraled out of control, but was denied. Stephen Sun, who resigned from the position as of Friday, revealed the plea this week in an interview with the Washington Post. If we would have had the National Guard, we could have held them at bay longer until more officers from our partner agencies could arrive. Sun told the newspaper, describing how the deadly June 6th storming of the Capitol Hill by a pro-Trump crowd might have unfolded differently. And I want to give you a link to that hyperlink to the Washington Post. All right. So let's get back into here. The Washington Post reports that on the Monday before the riot, Sun asked House and Senate security officials for permission to request the guard be placed on standby in case he needed hasty backup. But Sun told the newspaper that House Sergeant at Arms Paul Irving rebuffed the idea, arguing he was uncomfortable with the optics that such a move would bring in advance of Wednesday's protests. Senate Sergeant at Arms Michael Stinger told Sun that he should informally reach out to his contacts at the guard and ask them to lean forward and be on alert. He added. Sun said he followed Stinger's advice and called the head of the DC National Guard that night, who allegedly told him he believed he could get 125 personnel to the scene quickly if he needed. The police chief then briefed Irving and Stinger on that information Tuesday, and Stinger said the backup, which also included an offering from the Metropolitan Police Department to potentially lend a hand, seemed sufficient, according to Sun's interview with the Washington Post. Both Irving and Stinger, like Sun, have since resigned from their posts in the fallout of the riots. The National Guard did eventually arrive at the Capitol on Wednesday, but not until 5:40 p.m. after 4 people died and security was breached, according to the Washington Post. Pentagon officials had stated on last week that Capitol Police never requested DC National Guard backup before Wednesday, and later made an urgent request as the pro-Trump mob was about to breach the Capitol building, the newspaper adds. We rely on Capitol Police and federal law enforcement to provide an assessment of the situation, Pentagon spokesperson Jonathan Husband was quoted as saying. And based on that assessment that they believed they had sufficient personnel and did not make a request. Sun also told the Washington Post that he now believes the suspected pipe bombs found in Washington, D.C. last Wednesday were deliberately placed in order to draw officers away from the Capitol building. Now I want to look at that again. But if you just look at all this nonsense, right? Hey, I'm a Trump supporter. All right, Charming Cthulhu. All right, hey, Charming Cthulhu, I want you to call in, right? And if you don't have a way of calling in, I got a way for you to join my Discord. You can come to my Discord server, right? If you come to my Discord server, you join the voice chat. It is the exact same thing as doing a phone call. Now, with that being said, I want you to understand that it's my show, but you will have your say. Now, Charming Cthulhu, I'm going to give you a link. I'm going to post this, and I'm going to give it to you, and I want you to use it. Okay? There's the Discord link right there in the chat. If anyone wants to join my Discord so you can chat, let me know. The number to call in, you want to call in, is 253-203-6784. Okay? I want you to kind of explain things to me. I need people to explain to me how this happened, why this is justified, and why do so many people believe against their better judgment? Clearly, what has to be their better judgment, that this election was stolen. I just need to understand that, right? So, Charming Cthulhu, I want you to explain that one to me. I want to understand. I want you to help me understand. I want you to understand you better. I want you to help me understand you better, right? I said that messed up intentionally, right? I want you to do that for me, right? And the reason why I want you to do that, right? And I'll be in the stream room. Your stream room? All right. Let me know. Can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, I can hear you, man.
All right. Go ahead. Tell me what exactly is going on. Why are Trump supporters losing their goddamn mind? What kind of drugs is going on? How many cousins have they fucked? What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? First off, I just want to let you know, dude, I am a fan of your content. I've been watching you for a while when you're putting out more videos and all that.
Right.
But yeah, I guess. Well, first off, do you have anything specific you were wondering, coming from, the perspective of?
I want to understand. All right, so listen, I got to ask you, and I'm not saying that you necessarily agree with it, right? What I am saying is, so here's 3 things, right? Because again, you know my content. I try to break it down very, very, very simply, right?
Yeah.
So,
of course,
a lot of the pro-Trump people are anti-mask, right? But then a lot of them who showed up to the Capitol, who stormed the Capitol, were pro-crime. But then a lot of them were carrying Blue Lives Matter flags. In fact, I saw a video where a guy was getting beat down with a Blue Lives Matter flag, and it was a cop. Okay? So Do you understand that in no world do any of those three things make sense together as a pair? Because if you're gonna be pro-crime, you should be pro-mask, right? Or if you're gonna be, anti-mask, you shouldn't be pro-crime, right?
Well, I guess that comes down to so a good example I like to bring up whenever I talk about this, and let me know if there's an echo or anything. I'm just getting to a spot where I have a good connection to my Wi-Fi, so let's break up. But
right. Go ahead.
A good example is let's say the original Portland protests when they were doing the free speech march. Antifa came up, the Patriot Prayer, all that. A great example is when you look at the divide between the two lines, there is that standoff, right? You could walk over and let's say talk to someone who is on the more left-leaning side, and you'd ask them, hey, why are you here? It's like, well, look at them over there. They're all racist. Look, they're flying a Confederate flag, right? And you go over to them and say, well, did you know that Confederate flag was there? It's like, yeah, but that's not everyone, And then you could look back over again at the left side and see that there are people flying, communist flags, right? And you ask them there, they're like, no, I just support universal health care. I believe that's, And so when it comes to that, I think a big draw of Trump was originally throwing a wrench in the system, right? When you see war pigs in power for so long, and I mean, I grew up with that, like Bush era.
Right.
And everyone thought it would stop with Obama. Everyone thought that, okay, so he's going to be the peacemaker, and it's just to continue with the industrial military complex, right?
Right.
And so seeing that Trump wants to draw our troops out of Iraq, he's very against the status quo. And I think that was the original draw. And so you get a lot of right-leaning libertarians who also show up, who are, more anarchist, small government style, and believe in, community supporting itself instead of getting help or waiting on help from someone else.
Right.
When it comes to that.
Right. Well, here's the thing. So, what you're saying is perfectly reasonable. Do you understand that sometimes I say things so that I could teach people a lesson?
Of course, yeah.
Right. So, you remember during the riots and the protests during the summer, you had a bunch of people saying, "Well, most of the protests were peaceful," and a lot of those people weren't even BLM. A lot of those people were not Antifa. They were just upset over freaking shootings. They weren't necessarily even like down with America or down with capitalism. They were just protesting, and a lot of that was also compounded with the fact that a lot of their businesses have been shut down. A lot of their jobs have been lost. That's what you're seeing. It's a lot of outrage and anger. And no matter how much I tried to explain that to people on the MAGA side, right, they could not understand the nuance or the context, right? So, do you understand why I'm being so hard on this position? Because I'm trying to show you I'm trying to show some people on the right how you sound.
Oh, of course, yeah. No, I understand that, right? Like I'm completely against. A good example is what I do. A lot of right-leaning people also do it. I'm licensed by the state to work certain jobs and stuff like that. We're a security contracting company, and so of course there's a lot of right-leaning people because guns and all that, and it's cool. It's just cool. And so we have a few people who are like, posting in the group chat. A good example is the other day. He was talking about, this is why I'll always support Republicans, blah, 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 right? And when someone from my side, who I feel is more MAGA because it's it's the closest thing that represents, my personal ideology, which is libertarianism, right? The free market, personal property rights, everyone, that kind of stuff. And you see stuff like that, it's like, dude, these, neocons, boomers, basically, right? They're ruining it for a lot of people who don't really even have a voice, but we're forced to align with this party because we see the dangers of, an all-controlling state, a nanny government. We don't want from cradle to grave.
So you feel almost bottlenecked into the Republican Party.
Of course, yeah. Like I'm registered with the Florida Constitutional Party. Like I'm not, but it's like we don't have support for third party basically anywhere because there's no one getting into politics saying I want to change it. They're getting into it for the money.
So basically, if you're saying that if there was a viable third party, you would probably not be a Republican.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. So see, you're not really a MAGA guy. You are basically, and don't take this the wrong way, you're basically the chick who's there because the money's good. You are a sensible voter. You are a smart, sensible voter in that you don't care about what you've done for me. What have you done for me lately? Okay, that's how it should be.
What are you going to do what's in the future?
Right.
I mean,
So you're not really like one of those hardcore MAGA guys. You are just, you feel bottlenecked into the party, and I totally get that because like me myself, I'm extremely pro gun. I open carry and shit. So obviously I feel bottlenecked too. Yeah. But the thing is that
right.
You may notice that I've been pushing, we need a serious third party. I'm serious about that shit. We need a serious third party because the Republicans ain't shit, the Democrats ain't shit. I mean, this whole two-party bullshit has to go.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. And because what that leads to is people who feel that their options are limited. What that does is that produces stress, and when you produce that kind of stress, people start to act out, and when people start to act out, you get what you got on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, of course, man. And a lot of it, I do think, right? The CIA has confirmed that that bombing in '83.
Right.
I think it was. I forgot the name of it, but they said yes, that was a false flag. So we do know those exist, and we do know that there are deep ties that know that if Trump supporters look bad, it's going to be good for them. And there's a possibility. I mean, the guy who stole the podium, he's been in riots before in Portland, and he has photos of himself making almost the exact same face.
Right.
So I think a lot of the incitement of violence comes from these anarcho-nihilists who believe that there's no sense in maintaining any meta-narrative whatsoever. It stems from like Russia in like the 1600s, and then how Dostoevsky wrote against that, basically with Crime and Punishment. Like the book came from a first-person perspective of an anarcho-nihilist. But
Right. Well, here's the problem though, is that the FBI so far, everyone that they've captured, not only are they hardcore QAnon or MAGA, some of them were politicians. 2 of them were. So it's like, yeah, there are false flags, but when we start catching politicians, I mean that brings things to a whole new level. Like that's not some false flag. That's like there was a West Virginia guy. He was a West Virginia delegate from the House of Delegates. This guy taped himself, put his face on camera as they're rushing the Capitol building. And it's like, listen, guy, you have a good job. You are a fucking politician. You don't break the law on camera. You break the law behind the scenes. That's you break the law on bills.
I think they would know that, huh?
Yeah, you break the law on bills. You don't break the law on camera. You're too fucking white and rich for this. You don't do this shit. Don't do this shit.
You get.
I'm just saying. Why? No. Did you see the one guy who was breaching the Capitol who had a fucking name tag on?
Yeah.
That was quite exceptional. That was quite exceptional, wasn't it? So here's the thing. What do you think? Okay, so what do you think these people are coming from?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we see a lot of stuff being pushed. You see a lot of censorship coming out of Europe. Build Back Better is a European Union slogan.
Right.
It's from the EU. They're using it themselves. They're talking about the Great Reset, which is so debated within mainstream media, whether or not it's a conspiracy, but there is propaganda over there. The Economic Forum made a video about it, all that. They're trying to get rid of private property rights. And so when you see stuff like that, and you see these corporatist oligarchs taking over basically, big businesses, all these wealthy people only getting wealthier, especially with everything shutting down, it's exactly what you were talking about. Everyone's businesses are being closed down. It looks like there's no hope, and we keep seeing the media gets money from ads. The more people watching, the more money they get. And so they run these crazy scare stories about, oh, look how many people died. Look what's going on now. Look at this. Look at this. And so it just keeps making it worse. It keeps making tensions between people worse. And, you know, whenever I talk to people about this, you know, in my daily life, I always try to bring attention to the fact that, like, look, us the people shouldn't be fighting when all those people are making money off of our suffering, you know.
Right. So have you met anybody from the Power Boys? You know, anybody who wanted to go to that particular rally?
No, I don't know anyone from the Proud Boys, but I watched Gavin McInnes back when he first, you know, came up with it originally as a joke, and really a lot of them, they're just pro-family, pro-2A guys who love America. You know, they believe in traditionalism where, you know, they can go out and make the bread while the women stay home. And,
so how does that translate into violence? That's my problem. Like, because whenever I see them lately, because again, I actually follow them. I follow Enrique. I love Enrique. I love Enrique Toria. I love him to death. I love Enrique. He's a very, very funny guy. But I do actually follow them. And most times that I hear them speaking, they are always talking about shooting someone or being in a scenario where they shoot someone. And I'm just thinking to myself, listen, I open carry in almost every goddamn video, and even I'm not talking about shooting someone that goddamn much. It sounds to me like you really want to shoot someone.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, if you put that energy in the universe, it's going to happen. You know, don't look for something that you're not prepared to deal with, I guess. Right.
So my question that I want to know is, I mean, again, because I'm very, very curious as to what some of the viewers are thinking. All right. So not only do you think is this going to happen again, but how bad do you think it's going to get if you do think it's going to happen again?
Oh man, I really hope it doesn't. I was hoping our you know, when you see like people on the right, you know, a lot of people watch the same videos, and there's a lot of overlap in content creators when it comes to like comments, and so you see people what they're posting in the comments and how many likes they get like that. You can kind of see trends go up and down, especially when it comes to YouTube and Twitter. And I hope it doesn't get bad. I have seen a lot of you know, pro MAGA talk that, you know, a lot of people are like, that was not good at all, what happened. Not only did it hurt our, you know, America First movement, you know, but it basically destroyed optics.
Right.
Any of the same people that we had left on our side that were wavering about whether or not, you know, we should keep going with this movement that we have seen growth with, and it was working out for the most part, whether or not it springboarded off of previous policies. But we saw a decrease in Islamic terror, an increase of personal growth throughout America. I know I had a good year, or a good 4 years, and
maybe not last one.
I even had kids, so yeah, maybe not the last one. But yeah, it might get bad, and I really hope not. I mean, honestly, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing right-wing LARPers as Antifa causing grief, and then left-wing LARPers as MAGA causing grief too.
Well, we've already seen that.
Both sides.
We've already seen that.
An increase and basically like a destruction of, you know, feeling safe in America. I think that's one of the biggest things too, is when people don't feel safe, they always want the state to protect them if there's all these quote unquote anarchists around, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm you know what I'm worried about, man? I'm worried.
Oh, what's that?
You know, I'm worried that I was originally wrong about Trump, and that he was everything that I suspected that he was, but I gave him a chance. But there was a suspicion, a deep reading, because you know I love history, right? And I'm going to show you, like, when this particular call ends, I'm going to show you a guy named Pitchfork Tillman. You ever heard of him?
I mean, the name's familiar.
Ben Tillman, he was a governor of South Carolina, and Ben Tillman, he was one of the most racist politicians of all time. But if you look at that guy and some of the things that he did, some of the things that he said, some of the ways that some of the ways in which he acted and behaved is gonna remind you of somebody. Even how he looks, it's gonna remind you of somebody. Even how he went after Tezzy. So one of the reasons why we call him Pitchfork Tillman is because he threatened to cattle prod a former president in Grover Cleveland. That sounds like a very, very Trumpian thing to say. And this motherfucker ran for the Senate, ran for the president. He was a fucking gun. I mean, listen, he had a paramilitary group that was going around beating up black folk whenever they fucking voted. It was, and listen, you would think this is
that's the was that the whole test thing? Like even if you passed it, they would reject your vote and say that you didn't.
Right, that was part of it, but it got so wild that they said that in order for you to vote in this one state, you have to be a resident. You have to be a U.S. resident for 2 years, a citizen of the state for like 4 years, and then like I think that's on it, and then you got to pass some kind of literacy test, and they did that because the free slaves were just fucking free, and they know they couldn't fucking read, so it's like that's why they did that shit.
Yeah. I mean, the first two do sound reasonable though in our modern day.
I don't know, man. Like, listen.
Like,
the way I see it, if you pay property tax, you can vote. If you pay if you gotta pay those fucking taxes, if you gotta pay vehicle tax, you can fucking vote. Fuck that shit. You know what fucking property tax is? It's basically paying a fucking subscription fee for a property that you already supposedly fucking own.
So you always pay the state, exactly. Yeah, no, I don't.
It's fucking Netflix for goddamn houses, basically.
Oh yeah, I mean, as a libertarian, I don't believe in, for all that. But yeah, no, I agree with you on that point. Of course.
So
I mean, I feel we agree a lot. I feel like it's mostly just small stuff.
Right. So
I really don't know if we do disagree on anything.
Well, here's the thing. So one thing I'm very curious about, right? The one last thing I'm very curious about is, do you think that Donald Trump is going to run again in 2024? And if so, do you think he's going to win?
I think if he does run again in 2024, I don't think anything's going to happen. If not, the state just not letting it happen. If not, the optics being completely ruined at this point. Unless there's enough people that turn away from mainstream media and the meta narrative that they're presenting, I don't think that there's going to be any chance for him. Hopefully, a third party does arrive. Hopefully, people can unite underneath that and see, like, hey, these guys that are in office, who've been in office for years and years, don't care about us. They care about lining their own pockets.
Oh, one more question. What do you think is going to happen to Mitch McConnell now? That he's no longer going to be the Senate Majority Leader.
I mean, you saw how they vandalized Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell's house.
Listen, I do not advocate you storm the Capitol. I don't advocate you messing up private property, but I will fucking laugh. That was great.
I don't know.
Great job, guys. Great job. Listen, you want to know why I have no problem with that shit? Because they bought those houses with my fucking money. And goddamn it,
right.
If you want to fuck that shit up, I paid for it. Go ahead. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. You know what? You want to know why? Because guess what? At least they got a house that you can actually fuck up. Because a lot of people coming pretty soon won't. And it's their fault.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
You know? Anyways, man, hey, thank you for calling in. Keep watching. We're going to be getting to some more articles, and we're going to get some videos and stuff. And, Lord have mercy. Listen, ever since I started this podcast, right, I've gotten some of the weirdest calls. Yesterday, I got a call from a guy in the UK who was spreading some of the same fake news. And I'm like, the fake news has spread all the way to the fucking UK. That's the power of fake news, man.
Yeah.
That's the power of fake news. But anyways, man, is there anything else that you want to say? Any channel that you want to shout out? If you have like a channel you want to shout
out? Actually, man, Ken, Ken.
Post it in the chat, and I will go ahead and repost it.
Gotcha.
All right.
It'll take a second to grab the URL, but yeah, and also, I mean, I guess I just want to bring attention to the fact Computing Forever was banned off of YouTube, I think, or
Really?
he got his channel taken down, and he was one of the guys really advocating for free speech in the UK, I think Scotland or Ireland. Yeah, and he's been banned, so just want to.
Why was he banned?
Be careful. He was just one of the ones. I don't know. That's why there's a lot of right-leaning libertarians, left-leaning libertarians, even, and centrists that are scared for free speech and that were worried about Biden coming in and then it being basically the government slowly gaining more and more power, voting themselves more and more power, and slowly building that up and taking away our rights. And so just stuff like that. He was a harmless channel. He was speaking his mind about the truth that he felt was correct, and a lot of people agreed with him.
Right. I was actually subscribed to him, and I was wondering why I haven't got any videos, and that's why. Thank you for letting me know. But all right, man. Hey, thank you for calling in, and thank you, and keep watching. All right, peace.
You're welcome, man. Bye.
All right, that was wow. Computing Forever is gone. I did not know that actually happened. Wow. That is awfully concerning. That is awfully concerning. Let's go over to the last thing. Let's see if we can find anything about that. That is just wow. I did not see that coming. That's truly shocking. Why was Computing Forever taken down? I don't understand. That is truly shocking. I did not see that coming. Alright, so let's see if we can open up a new tab here. So I did not see that coming because Computing Forever, he's a channel that I followed for a long time. And wow. Chat, let me know what have you guys heard about this? Computing Forever banned from YouTube. Dave Cullen. Okay, let's see what happens here because we got an article here about it. Dave Cullen show banned from YouTube in the dark. Okay, so let's go ahead and give you a link to this because there's an article written about it. Dave Cullen banned from YouTube in a dark and precedent-setting week for online censorship. The axe has fallen on yet another dissident Irish YouTuber. This time in the form of Dave Cullen, who has had his channel purged Sunday morning from the embattled video hosting site. With just over 500,000 subscribers, Cullen who originally started his life on the channel 14 years ago, primarily as a technology reviewer, made a name for himself among writers' circles due to his drift into conservative and nationalist politics. More recently, he has led the charge in the critique of the science behind state-mandated lockdowns and the emergence of what he believed to be technocratic police state by means of a great reset. In an email sent to Cullen, who partially operates under the moniker Computing Forever, YouTube stated that the suspension was on account of repeated violations of our community guidelines. The standard line when extirpating non-conformist content. This week alone has witnessed a bloodbath of content removal in the aftermath of the storming of the U.S. Capitol, and this trend is likely to only accelerate amid the worsening of the political situation in America and the end of the Trump era. Wow. In a statement following his suspension, Cullen reiterated his commitment to truth seeking and journalism, saying, I'm very proud of maintaining a strong commitment to the truth. I regret nothing I've said in the fight against evil forces threatening our freedoms. Today's banning on YouTube will just liberate me further. Fortunately, the rather strategically savvy Cullen appears to have apprehended the inevitability of his channel's demise, as he has already established himself on a variety of alt-tech platforms, softening the blow from his YouTube suspension. With 83,000 subscribers on his BitChute channel already and 6,000 plus on his additional Odyssey channel, his deletion off of YouTube shouldn't be seen as a fatal blow. And I want to go ahead and advertise his channel because, again, listen, I don't agree with everything that Dave Cullen says, of course, but I don't think the man's channel should be banned. Of course, YouTube can make their own decision. They can make their own decision, and that's their decision. I just don't have to actually agree with it. You know, the same way that they have their rights as a company to do as they wish. The same way I have a rights as an individual to say that that's pretty fucked up. You know, and I understand that Dave Cullen says a lot of things that are pretty right leaning. I will say that he says a whole lot of things that are pretty right fucking leaning. But that's irrelevant as to whether or not the man should be able to speak at all. Now, if he's making calls to violence, that's one thing. But I haven't seen him make calls to violence. I've seen him argue with a whole lot of people. But that's where it ends. So, let's go here. Alright, so we got that article done there. FBI's DC pipe bomb investigation prompts 50 grand reward offer. So apparently some people brought pipe bombs to the DC protest, and the FBI is offering a reward. So if you want to make $50,000 and you know anything about these people, hey, you might want to become a snitch. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if I knew who you was, oh baby, daddy wants a brand new car. Oh my God. The agency is also seeking information on dozens of suspects who entered the Capitol on Wednesday, written by David Arrow of Fox News. Let's put this out. I believe it was 3 days ago. All right. The FBI announced Thursday that it is offering a reward of as much as $50,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of a suspect or suspects accused of placing suspected pipe bombs in Washington on Wednesday. Authorities said the suspected bombs found at the headquarters of the Republican National Committee, RNC, and the Democratic National Committee, or DNC, on Wednesday. A photo was released by the FBI of the masked suspect who was seen wearing a hoodie and gloves. See, this is an actual smart criminal because he wore a hoodie and a gloves, okay? So people don't know who he is. He's not like the fucking idiot Buffalo MAGA furry who just comes out there with no damn mask on. All right. So once again, I'm gonna give you a link to this tweet because it's just a tweet that FBI is looking for this person. So if you want to make a good $50,000, baby, hit up the FBI. Hit up old Uncle Sam and he might give you 50 G. That might be your stimulus right there, baby. Cause I'm gonna tell you right now. If I knew who he was, I'm telling. Daddy wants a brand new RB, baby. I'm telling. Ain't you? The reward offer was part of an FBI announcement that included a release of photos of dozens of suspects who the agency said are accused of unlawfully entering the U.S. Capitol that day. A violent mob, some carrying weapons, were seen roaming the halls of the federal building during Wednesday's unprecedented breach of an American government institution. Rioters smashed or dismantled property and barged into House and Senate leaders' chambers as Capitol Hill staffers and lawmakers went under lockdown or hid behind chairs or under tables. The FBI's Washington field office said it is seeking the public's help to identify offenders. Oh my God! Y'all not getting away. Dash your booty. You want to make some money? Become a snitch. I'm gonna tell you right now. If I knew who any of these people were, I'm snitching. Oh my God, I'm snitching. I'm telling. You wanna know why I'm telling? You wanna know why? Because if I can profit off of your stupidity, why not? If I can make me 50 stacks off of your back, oh baby, you best believe I most certainly will. Oh my God, I most certainly will. In fact, if you see any of these folks here and you want a brand new RV like me, call up the FBI, call up the Federal Bureau of Investigations, baby. Get your money. Get your money, boo-boo. Anyone with information regarding these individuals, or anyone who witnessed any unlawful violent actions at the Capitol or near the area, is asked to contact the FBI's toll-free tip line, 1-800-CALL-FBI, to verbally report tips, an agency release said. If you have witnessed unlawful violent actions, we urge you to submit any information, photos, or videos that could be relevant at fbi.gov/US Capitol, the FBI wrote. On Thursday, the city's Metropolitan Police Department released photos of the persons of interest they are searching for. The reward to anyone who provides information that leads to their arrest and indictment was up to $1,000. And that's per person. Oh my God, that is per person. At least 5 people died in connection with the riot, including a California woman shot by police inside the Capitol building. 3 people who died of medical issues, and a U.S. Capitol police officer identified as Brian Sicknick, who died Thursday after being injured while physically engaging with protesters, authorities said. At least 70 people have been arrested so far in connection to the unrest. 70 fucking idiots. 70 idiots arrested. Oh my God. 70 idiots arrested. 70 idiots. Listen. This is just, I want you guys to see this nonsense, right? I want you guys to see this nonsense. I want you all to understand what it is that you're witnessing here.
It's finally a new year, and Tubi is turning new beginnings into...
I don't care about it finally being a new year. Oh gosh, I don't want to see this advertisement. It's awful. Awful TV. Alright, so Capitol protests, FBI manhunt for riot suspects, road goes high tech. See these damn ding dongs, right? They went and they posted, right? They posted on the interwebs about all of their activities. See, the FBI didn't really have to go high tech for these damn demos, these damn idiots, right? Right. 4 people died as violent mob of apparent Trump supporters stormed U.S. Capitol. It was published 3 days ago. A coalition of law enforcement agencies superheaded by the FBI is hunting for anyone involved in Wednesday's riots on Capitol Hill. The former special agents tell Fox News that advanced digital technology as well as traditional techniques will be used to find suspects. FBI Director Christopher Wray said Wednesday the Bureau has deployed its full investigative resources to aggressively pursue those involved in Wednesday's unrest. Police said 4 people died as a violent mob of apparent Trump supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol, where Congress was tallying electoral college votes that would confirm Joe Biden is president-elect. Dozens of people, some armed with guns, roamed the halls of the federal building, smashed or dismantled property, and barged into House and Senate leaders' chambers. Meanwhile, Hill staffers and lawmakers were under lockdown or hid behind chairs or under tables. Oh my God! You're terrorists. If you were there, or if you support that, or if you even remotely support this, you're terrorists. Benjamin Phillips, a 50-year-old Pennsylvania man, Roseanne Bolin, a 34-year-old Georgia woman, and Kevin Greason, a 55-year-old from Alabama, died from suffering medical emergencies related to the breach, law enforcement officials said during a Thursday press conference. A fourth person, identified as Ashley Babbitt, as Ashley Babbitt, was fatally shot by police during the riots. I've never seen anything like that. Former FBI special agent in charge, Andrew Arena, told Fox News by phone on Thursday. I was disgusted. I was disappointed, saddened. I mean, it's just a flood of emotions to see that in our nation's capital, and I spent 2/3 of my time with the FBI. Arena led the FBI's Detroit division, which served all of Michigan from 2007 to 2012, and previously worked as special agent in charge of criminal investigations at the FBI's New York office. He now serves as executive director of the Detroit Crime Commission and is an adjunct professor at Thomas M. Cooley Law School at Western Michigan University. Arena said the countless photos of people, many of whom were not wearing masks or face coverings online and on social media, will make identifying suspects easier. He believes the FBI's tip line will be flooded with people who recognize someone in the photographs. The FBI tip line, the FBI hotline tip line is getting thousands of calls today, he predicted. Fortunately, a lot of these folks did not really disguise themselves very, very well. So I think the majority I think the majority of it is going to be citizens calling and identifying people. Oh my God. Oh my God. So basically, what this man is telling you from the FBI, right, is that they're not really searching all that hard for the MAGA terrorists. Because the MAGA terrorists, these people, they told on themselves. Oh my God. They told on themselves because they didn't want to wear a mask. How the fuck are you pro-crime? You're pro-police, but you're anti-mask. Right? Tell me, how are you? Give me a second. All right, that was my doggo. Listen, how are you pro-crime? You are anti-mask, right? But you're pro-cop. You can't be pro-crime and pro-cop. You can't be anti-mask but then pro-crime. You can't be pro-crime but then anti-mask. You see how that works? No matter what combination you bring those three things into, right? No matter how you try to organize those three things, no matter how you try to rationalize those three things, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. And I just want you to understand, there's a reason why it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's because these people, what they've done over a period of time, you know, is that they've managed to convince a massive amount of people that the election was stolen from Donald Trump. They've convinced a mass of people that somehow it is the white man who is oppressed. They've convinced a mass of people that the FBI, Department of Justice, Department of Homeland Security, every state that Donald Trump lost in, everybody who's ever viewed anything that Donald Trump has done in terms of these lawsuits, they've somehow convinced all these people that it's not them that's wrong, it's everybody else. Have you thought about that for a second? I want you to think about that for a second. In what other context, right, will that make any fucking sense? In what other context would that be reasonable? In what other context would you find that to be reasonable? Where everybody else is wrong, but you're right. And that's been happening all across the country. The entire country has told you to fuck off. The entire country has told you to fuck off. But it's not the country, right, It's the country, it's the media, it's everybody but you. You don't think that whenever it gets to that point, that when it gets to the point where it's everybody but you, do you think it's possible? And I just want you to think about this for a second. I want you to think really, really hard about this. This is very, very important. Do you think it's possible that you've been lied to? That someone has gently massaged your emotions because they know that's how to get to you? Do you think that it's possible? And just humor me here. That at some point or another, not only have you been lied to in terms of if you are a Trump voter, you've been lied to by Donald Trump, but that you've been fed these lies for a reason. The man is treating you like you're stupid, like you don't understand simple logic. The man is treating you like you're a child. And if you're okay with that, and I have to say, if you're okay with that, that's fine. That's your right as a grown person. But as for me, I'd rather not be talked down to. I'd rather not be fed lies. As for me, I want to hear the truth. And you'll get people who will downvote this video. You'll get people who will come at me and scream and shout. And they'll be upset at the things that I'm saying. And the one thing that I don't want to do to my subscribers or anyone who watches this podcast or watches me do any kind of content is lie to them. I'm not Tim Pool. I'm not Styx Hexahammer. I'm not Matt Christensen. I'm not Blonde from the Belly of the Beast. I'm not Brandon Tatum. I'm not Styx Hexahammer 666. I don't lie to you for money. Those people have patrons on Patreon. I've been spending more and more money, a lot more money on my production than Styx ever did, and yet I don't have a single patron. Which means that I do this for passion. He does it for money. Who do you think is going to be more willing to lie to you? The guy that's getting paid or the guy that really ain't getting paid? Think about it for a second. Think about how many years I've sat here and made all the same content, and I've been trying to tell people the same stuff to expand your mind. Don't just take news from one source. Take it from multiple sources. To not have a hardcore political bias so hardcore that you can't change your mind and abandon ship when you see a ship is fucking sinking. You know, I want you to think about things in terms of not just how things affect you right now, but how it's going to affect you later. You know, you being a hardcore MAGA supporter wasn't a problem for the past 4 years until now. Because now if you're a hardcore MAGA supporter and people in your neighborhood know that, and let's say that you're not in a hardcore red state. Let's say that you're in Ohio or Pennsylvania, maybe New York, maybe Michigan, Wisconsin, some parts of Georgia actually, some parts of Texas, definitely California, definitely Washington State, Oregon. How do you think that they're looking at you now? They're looking at you like you're not a terrorist? Because I can assure you that they most certainly are. I can assure you that those people look at you like you're terrorists. And the question I want to ask all the MAGA folk is, can you completely blame those people? I'm not saying that what they're thinking is right. I'm saying if Parler was still around, and if they go to Parler and all they see is a bunch of people talking about shooting people, They go look at the Proud Boys. All they see is a bunch of people talking about shooting people. And they run over to Patriot Prayer. And they see a bunch of conspiracy theories. So they run over to QAnon. It's about optics. You know, and it started back a couple of years ago with Andy Warski and the whole race realism thing and kicking black folks out in the white ethno-state bullshit. It started there. A lot of black folk like me were paying attention. That spoke to me. That spoke to me. That told me a lot. And the fact that you had so many content creators willing to entertain that bullshit. Oh no, we just want to hear them about a fucking white ethno state. And you just happen to lean right. Oh, you just happen to be interested in the fucking subject. Mind you, we were a country still at fucking war. People were losing their jobs even back then. You got a lot of issues in this particular country and even around the world. Still had Brexit happen in the UK. But they were so focused on that shit. Do you understand the message that's sent to everybody who was like me? See, Trump, a lot of his appeal was coming from the online communities. That was a lot of his damn appeal. And so, when a good bit of his appeal is gone, because the online communities are no more, or when those people become demoralized, you begin to see the drop off in the activity. You begin to see the true faces of terrorism. Am I calling every Trump supporter a terrorist? No. No. But I am saying that there's definitely I would say a link there. You know, I would say there's a bit there's a bridge there, whereas I'm not going to say that all people who are belonging to the MAGA movement are terrorists. I'm not going to say that. What I am saying is there are parts of the MAGA movement who are not exactly unfriendly to terrorists. Just like, for example, there's parts of the left that are not exactly unfriendly to radical Islamists, is Islamic terrorists. There are people like that. There are people like that. You know? And the sooner that we accept that, the sooner that we come to terms with the fact that we in fact have people who are violent, who will try to hurt people, who will try to, you know, bring harm to people, and there are people out there who go out of their way to try to cover for those for those individuals. We know that those people exist. We know that those people are out there. And the one thing that I'm really, really sick of is how we deny it. You know, I remember when I first was speaking about Edgy Sphinx. He's this Arab white nationalist. And I remember there's a lot of people were saying, "Oh no, he's not an Arab. He's not a freaking white nationalist." And the man clearly is. The man told me he was. So it's like, wait a minute. How is it that you're telling me that something is happening that I know is happening because the man told me he's an Arab white nationalist? But you see, that's just the thing. Those people's jobs was never to tell the truth. It was to simply discredit what I was saying and then move on. It was never to be honest. It was just to simply try to make me look like a liar in front of a big amount of people. It was never just to be honest. And the sad part about that is that many of those people are now upset because I won't come back to MAGA. That now I'm smashing MAGA on a damn near daily basis. And my response to those people is, maybe you shouldn't burn your goddamn bridges. Maybe next time you won't be such dicks. But anyways, that's not my concern. I don't care about what MAGA thinks. I don't care about what MAGA says. I care about what certain subscribers say, because to be honest with you, if you're MAGA, I love you still. I just don't care what the greater movement has to say right now, because let's be honest, most of the country doesn't. Oh my God, most of the country doesn't. Let's get back to the live scene. Let's get back to getting into the news. All right. So let's get back into the news. All right. So, Parler sues Amazon for suspending app from cloud service, claims antitrust violation and breach of contract. Oh my gosh.
Doing the things we love can be painful. Ask for creams.
All right, so I'm going to post this in the live chat. That way you guys can have access to all this. Here you go. Whoopsies. There we go. All right, so the link is in the chat. All right, so Parler sues Amazon for suspending app from cloud service, claims antitrust violation and breach of contract. All right. Alternative social media platform Parler filed a lawsuit against Amazon on Monday following Amazon Web Services' decision to suspend Parler from its cloud hosting service following last week's daily riot at the U.S. Capitol. Parker is seeking a temporary restraining order to keep Amazon Web Services (AWS) from blackballing Parler. It claims Amazon Web Services is violating the Sherman Antitrust Act in the filing. So we're going to post the filing in the chat here. This story is about Parler again. AWS's decision to effectively terminate Parler's account is apparently motivated by political animus. Parler claims in his filing. AWS is violating Section 1 of the Sherman Antitrust Act in combination with defendant Twitter. AWS is also breaching its contract with Parler, which requires AWS to provide Parler with a 30-day notice before terminating service, rather than the less than 34-hour notice AWS actually provided. Finally, AWS is committing intentional interference with prospective economic advantage, given the millions of users expected to sign up in the near future. Parler claims that it is being discriminated against because it is in direct competition with social media giant Twitter. Last month, defendant Amazon Web Services Inc. (AWS) and the popular social media platform Twitter signed a multi-year deal so that AWS could support the daily delivery of daily delivery of millions of tweets. AWS currently provides that same service to Parler, a conservative micro-blogging alternative and competitor to Twitter. The filing reads: When Twitter announced 2 evenings ago that it was permanently banning President Trump from his platform, conservative users began to flee Twitter en masse for Parler. The exodus was so large that the next day, yesterday, Parler became the #1 free app downloaded from Apple's App Store. Parler went dark early Monday following AWS's decision to suspend Parler from its cloud hosting service. During an interview on Mornings with Maria on Monday, the CEO John Mates told the users to hold on and come back as the company figures out how to move forward. So once again, Parler has been suspended, and they are suing Amazon, claiming that they violated the terms of service and also the Sherman Antitrust Act. Let's move on. Greenwald slams liberals for being overwhelmingly supportive of big tech brute force against conservatives. Reporter warns of coordinated suppression of tech monopolies in Biden administration. All right, so this is from Fox News once again. Left-wing journalist Glenn Greenwald panned liberals on Monday for supporting I don't want to hear from this old skeleton lady. Lady hush. Okay, cool. Gosh.
So join me here on Castles, USA.
Hold on.
Available now only on Fox Station.
All right, cool. So, left-wing journalist Glenn. Oh my gosh. Why?
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. The crackdown on America's civil liberties is coming. We told you.
Good Lord. All right, there we go. Turn on the volume. All right. Left-wing journalist Glenn Greenwald panned liberals on Monday for supporting conservative big tech efforts to manipulate U.S. politics over the past 3 months. All right. So right here, Greenwald pointed to censorship of the New York Post's reporting on Hunter Biden's laptop in October, Twitter's permanent ban of President Trump, and the suspension of right-leaning social media site Parler from Apple, Amazon, and Google. These companies, he said last week, have more power than any companies in world history due to their ability to control speech and information. Tech monopolies, Facebook, Google, Apple, Amazon, have more concentrated wealth and power than any in history. They have used brute force 3 times in 3 months to manipulate U.S. politics, censoring New York Post, banning Trump, destroying Parler, and liberals are overwhelmingly supportive, Greenwald tweeted. That these Silicon Valley monopolies are grace menaces to political freedom and economic well-being is not a right-wing view, Greenwald wrote, who was paralleling Democrats supporting big tech with their alliance with the war on terror, of which he has been deeply critical. Authoritarians never believe they are authoritarians, no matter how much censorship, surveillance, jingoism, and imprisonment that they demand. Some Democrats had long supported Trump being banned from social media, such as Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, and liberals taunting him over losing his Twitter account. Senator Mazie Hirono, Democrat from Hawaii, wrote, "Gollum has lost his precious," a reference to the Lord of the Rings book series. Trump has lost his account amid backlash to a mob of his fervent supporters storming the Capitol last week in a deadly riot. Twitter blocked users from sharing the New York Post article about Biden in October, and Facebook had also limited its distribution, drawing outrage over the blatant display of coordinated censorship. Parler, a conservative alternative to Twitter, is facing a possible ruin after getting deplatformed for what big tech giants deem insufficient moderation of violent content. Greenwald warned on Tucker Carlson tonight, Friday, of further coordination between the incoming Biden administration and left-wing big tech giants against voices they want to suppress. What will happen once Trump is gone? The strategy has always been clear, he said, to inflate the risk of what they call white supremacist terrorism, which increasingly means nothing more than being a Trump supporter, and then treating people in the U.S. who fall into that category the way you treat terrorists. No, Glenn Greenwald, I'm going to disagree with you. They stormed the fucking Capitol. They stormed the Capitol. That's why they're doing this. Don't blame the left for this. Blame the right for this. Blame MAGA for this. Not all MAGA, just most of them. The left and big tech, you gave them the keys to the goddamn kingdom. Oh my God. You gave them the keys to the fucking kingdom. If you want to stop them from doing this shit, why would you give them the keys to the fucking kingdom? Wow. Let's move on here. Army investigating officer Emily Rainey, who led group to D.C. rally ahead of Capitol riots. An Army captain reportedly resigned before she led a group of 100 Trump supporters to D.C. last week. An Army captain. You had a good-ass job, you fucking idiot. Listen, this Army captain, she's a fucking idiot. She lost her job, she resigned, and I really hope they prosecute her to the fullest extent of the damn law, because she's a fucking idiot. How do you lose your good ass job? How do you lose your good ass job? Because you want to have a goddamn riot, because you think somebody stole a goddamn election. How do you lose your good ass? Let's get into the article here. A psychological operations officer at Fort Bragg is under investigation by the Army after leading a group of 100 Trump supporters from North Carolina to Washington, D.C. last week. On the same day, rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol building, interrupting the official certification of Electoral College votes. Captain Emily Rainey, 30, had already resigned from her commission before traveling to D.C. last week, CBS News first reported Monday. Though the resignation process takes time, and she was therefore still on active duty Wednesday. She reportedly offered her resignation after receiving a career-ending letter of reprimand regarding her involvement in a different protest in the Fort Bragg area last year. So she was involved in a different protest last year, right? And she got a career-ending letter over that. So she said, fuck that, I'm going to go for gold. Commanders at Fort Bragg are reviewing Rainey's involvement in last week's events in the nation's capital, but she said she acted within military regulations and that no one in her group broke the law. If you are already having your career ended because of a protest you attended last year, why the fuck would you go down to Washington, D.C. and risk getting your career fucked up even further? You are a captain, you dumb cunt. You are a fucking captain. You are not a lieutenant. You're not a sergeant. You're not an E4. You're not a private. You are a captain. And you are 30 years old. You had your whole life ahead of you. You threw your life away, you fucking idiot, because you wanted to protest. I was a private citizen and doing everything right and within my rights, Rainey told the Associated Press Sunday. She did not immediately return Fox News' request for comment Monday. Rainey told the AP that she led 100 members of the Moore County Citizens for Freedom, which described itself online as a nonpartisan network promoting conservative values, to Washington to stand against election fraud and support President Trump. How the hell are you a nonpartisan network promoting conservative values for President Trump? You are a so-called nonpartisan network promoting conservative values for President Trump, but you claim that you're nonpartisan. That's the one thing that Americans love to fucking do, right? They know they're left or fucking right by American standards, right? But they'll say, no, by these standards, I'm a centrist. They want to commit to a fucked up idea or an idea that's actually a good idea, but they don't want to commit to it. They want to have their cake and eat it too. How the fuck are you a nonpartisan network promoting conservative values, but you support Trump? That makes no fucking sense whatsoever. And if you don't agree, call in. Call in and let me know how wrong I am. Explain to me how that makes any fucking sense whatsoever. Because I gotta be honest with you, I'm at a goddamn loss. I'm at a fucking loss right now. How does that make any sense whatsoever? Whatsoever. Let's move on here. She said that the group attended the Save America rally near the Save America rally. What kind of LARPy ass shit? So if Donald Trump doesn't get into the White House right now, for the next 4 years, America's done. You know, every 4 years, motherfuckers say the exact same shit. Every 4 years, motherfuckers say the exact same shit. It's like every year, every time it's a freaking new year, it's inevitable. You will have somebody say the world's gonna end. We're living in our last days, so get your soul right. Come to church with me. Come pray with me. And give the church all your hard-earned money. All your hard-earned money. So you go to church, you give them your hard-earned money, and you come back to the very, very next year, December 31st. And every year you promise, this year is going to be better than the last. We promised that. We said 2020 is behind us, and this year is going to be better than the last. Not even 6 fucking days in, these goddamn idiots got a fucking army captain. An army captain to throw away her entire goddamn career for fucking protesting. This bitch gave up an army captain salary. Let me show you how fucking retarded this bitch is, right? How much does an army captain make? Now, mind you, she wanted to give up her career for protesting. Okay, a glass door. Okay. The yearly base pay is more than $50,000. This bitch was making more than $27 an hour. That was the base hourly pay for an army captain. And this bitch threw it away for fucking protesting. That is federalpay.org. This bitch threw away a base salary every month. Every month, her base, and mind you, the way that military pay works, you have your base BAH, your base pay, but then you get time and service. If you got kids, you get all kind of other like boosts and pay, right? So The least she could have made, the very least she could have made, is the better part of $4,400 a month. That's the least she could have made. With full benefits. And in 20 years, she fucking retires. Full benefits. Retires as a, even if she just stayed as a fucking captain, she retires as a captain. She threw that away for fucking protesting. This army captain, her name is what? Captain Emily Rainey, 30, had already resigned from her commission before traveling to D.C. last week, CBS News first reported Monday. Though the resignation process takes time, and she was therefore still on active duty Wednesday. She reportedly offered her resignation after receiving a career-ending letter of reprimand regarding her involvement in a different protest in the Fort Bragg area last year. So last year, she was already being kicked out of the army for another protest that she attended in the Fort Bragg area. This is not even a DC protest. This bitch is making $27 an hour. Base pay. She could only make more from there. And she threw all that away for protesting. That's how fucking retarded these people are. The Army is also looking into whether soldiers stationed at Fort Bragg accompanied Rainey to D.C. Rainey is assigned to the 4th Psychological Operations Group at Fort Bragg, according to Major Daniel Lesser, a spokesman for the First Special Forces Command, known as PSYOPs. The group uses information and misinformation to shape the emotions, decision-making, decision-making, and actions of American adversaries. Of the American adversaries. This young lady right here threw her whole life away. Rainey first made headlines back in May after she posted a video online of her pulling down caution tape at a playground that was closed out under North Carolina's COVID-19 restrictions. Police and she's pulling down caution tape at a fucking playground. You are an Army captain. Your job is to defend the country, and you're pulling down caution tape at a fucking playground. America, this woman was being paid $27 an hour with your money, and while she's getting paid with your money, this bitch is out here pulling down caution tape on a fucking playground doing COVID-19 restrictions in North Carolina, and the playground was closed for the safety of fucking children. So the Army decided to kick her ass out for doing that shit. She decides, while she's still technically speaking in the Army, to go down to DC to fucking riot and protest. I mean, think to yourself. Is this person mentally well? Police in Southern Pines, a community about 30 miles or 48 kilometers west of Fort Bragg, charged her with injury to personal property over the incident. The police told WRAL TV that they let her off with warnings twice before she tore down the tape closing off the playground. So they gave her warnings twice. They gave her a slap on the wrist. They told her, listen, if you just stop doing this, we'll leave you alone. This is a privilege that I'm gonna tell you, black folk, we are not used to. Maybe it's because maybe there's some other reasoning. Help me out, let me know. But this is a privilege that I am not fucking used to, man. She tore down caution tape. She tore down caution tape on the damn playground after she was told twice by cops, listen, stop doing this. Stop. We will leave you alone if you would just stop doing this. In Washington on Wednesday, insurrectionists took over the House and Senate chambers, smashed windows, and waved Trump, American, and Confederate flags. The riot followed a rally where Trump repeated claims that the election had been rigged against him and said he and his supporters are going to have to fight much harder to protect democracy. So far, at least 90 people have been arrested on charges ranging from misdemeanor curfew violations to felonies related to assaults on police officers, possessing illegal weapons, and making death threats against House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat from California. Rainey said that her group and most people who travel to Washington are peace-loving, law-abiding people who are doing nothing but demonstrating our First Amendment rights. Rainey said she attended the Trump rally while on leave and didn't advertise that she was an Army officer. She also said that on Sunday that her commanders had not inquired about her time in Washington, and she did not immediately respond to a subsequent inquiry about the Army's investigation. I told my bosses before I went that I was going, and I told them when I got back, she said. Members of the U.S. military are permitted to take part in political organizations and events out of uniform. However, there are caveats. The Department of Defense directive prohibits active duty service members from sponsoring partisan organizations. It is unclear if Rainey's participation with her group on Wednesday went against DoD policy. Fort Bragg did not immediately return a Fox News request Monday. Moore County Citizens for Freedom shared a video on Facebook Thursday captioned, "This is what a peaceful protest looks like. They should pray we stay that way." They should pray we stay that way. So you say dumb shit like that, and you wondering why people call you violent. Oh my God. Let's move on. Seattle Police Union president under fire for tweets suggesting far left partially to blame for Capitol riot. They love blaming the left. They love blaming the left. Hey DM Cosmic Chaos, how you doing? Yes, North Carolina does take the COVID restrictions a little bit more serious than South Carolina. You are absolutely correct, and honestly, that's a good thing because COVID-19 is not a fucking joke. It was published a day ago. Police Officers Guild President Mike Salon is being investigated by the city's Office of Police Accountability. All right. The president of Seattle's rank and file police officers union is facing an internal investigation and calls to apologize or resign after tweets suggesting liberal activists are partially to blame for the U.S. Capitol riot. Seattle Police Officers Guild President Mike Salon tweeted Friday that the far right and the far left are responsible for that sad day, and retweeted a message pointing out that the Black Lives Matter activist was in the mob of Trump loyalists who stormed the Capitol building last week. You point out one BLM guy, one fucking BLM guy, and now all of a sudden it's a BLM riot. You fucking idiot. Salon wrote that American cops are caught in the middle between factions vying for political control after sharing a tweet by Andy No, a conservative journalist known for covering street protests in Portland, who was attacked by Antifa counter-protesters in 2019. Andy No is a fucking idiot. He's no different than fucking Tim Pool. He got attacked one time because he was at a fucking riot where he knows Antifa was goddamn there, and he knows what Antifa fucking does. Let me ask you a question. How many times have I been attacked by damn Antifa? Name some of the states that I've been to: Portland, Washington State, California, Nevada, Texas. Every place where Antifa has attacked someone, I've been there. I've been to a lot of their riots. I've never been attacked. And do you want to know why? Because when I see Antifa, I go the opposite fucking direction. But Andy No and dumbasses like him, he goes towards them. And that's why he seems to be targeted by them a lot, because he keeps going to where they are. So a lot of this shit that people keep talking, this man and people like him place themselves in those scenarios so that they can get the fucking reactions that they've been getting. No had shared a screen grab of video taken from inside the Capitol building during the riot that interrupted the congressional certification of electoral college votes. It appeared to show the same man in a mugshot from July 2020. No identified the man as John Earl Sullivan, and extreme BLM activist from Utah. Sullivan was arrested and charged in July 2020 over a BLM Antifa riot where drivers in Provo were threatened and one was shot, according to the journalist. Now, the one thing that Andy No loves to omit is that he mentions this one guy, right? But you see how we just covered this whole story about a fucking army captain who was a known Trump supporter, who the army placed under investigation, who said she's a known Trump supporter. She keeps showing up to riot. She's pulling out caution tape on fucking playgrounds, and that's why she keeps being arrested and damn goddamn charged. This fucking dishonest cunt and Andy No mentions one guy and says, well, you know, BLM was there too. Do you think you taking a picture of one fucking guy means that BLM had anything to do with this fucking bullshit? What do you think the breakdown was of BLM versus pro-Trump people? What do you think the fucking breakdown was? As the mainstream media tells us to blame, tells us who to blame for yesterday's troubles, at Mr. Andy No continues to be reliable. Hold the line, Salon wrote. Salon did not immediately turn a Fox News request for comment Sunday. Sullivan, the founder of Utah-based Insurgents USA, was detained by police in Washington, D.C. for about an hour and a half Thursday night as investigators questioned him about the videos he posted to social media from inside the Capitol building Wednesday, Deseret News reported. Sullivan admitted to Fox News that he climbed through a window to document the riot Wednesday and that he regularly attends protests to record what's going on, including a clash between Proud Boys on Tuesday near D.C.'s Black Lives Matter Plaza. His group, Insurgents USA, describes themselves as the Revolution, and in August, another video shows Sullivan telling a small crowd at a D.C. intersection that he would rip President Trump out of office, pointing to the nearby White House. Sullivan was previously arrested in Utah and faces charges in connection with a June protest he helped to organize in Provo, where a different demonstrator allegedly shot a passing motorist during a confrontation. So they're sitting there bringing up this one guy, right? And they're trying their best to link BLM to it, and it's just not sticking, guys. When I talk to the majority of people there, it's just not sticking. Find another fucking line. It's just not sticking. You gotta, again, and what I think that is actually doing is it's doing more harm than helping. Whatever you try to link BLM to this shit, it's pulling the veil off things. It's making people see. It's making people see the truth. It's making people see that BLM is a scapegoat for everything. Even more so than fucking Antifa. BLM gets blamed for everything. BLM has been telling you for a long time that Antifa shows up to their fucking riots and they're the ones who are actually violent a lot of times. And now all of a sudden MAGA's like, well, there's context. Not everybody there was violent. We've been trying to tell you that shit the whole fucking summer. Who do you think was burning down fucking Portland? It wasn't BLM. I can tell you, I've been to goddamn Portland. It's Antifa. Who do you think was fucking up goddamn Seattle? I can tell you it was not BLM. Those people might put up hashtag BLM. They might paint hashtag BLM on shit, but they were not the Black Lives Matter movement. They were Antifa, communists. So a lot of BLM was getting blamed for shit that Antifa was doing and other groups were doing, but you wouldn't stop blaming BLM for it. And now all of a sudden, you don't want people to blame MAGA. When I saw MAGA flags, I saw Blue Lives Matter flags, I saw people with Nazi tattoos, army captains, police officers, state lawmakers showing up there. I mean, I just don't understand what is it about BLM that makes you want to blame everything on them? Is it the black skin color or what is it? Again, I have a phone number for you to call in if you disagree. Tomsy one the fool of whatever your name is. I have a number for you to call in. Okay. The one thing that I don't allow in my comment section is continued comments unless you're gonna call in or participate. If you're gonna not agree with me, that's totally fine. But call in. There's also a Discord chat. You can join the stream room, and if you call in with a bunch of trolly comments, I'm gonna ban you. Okay. But once again, there's no point in you sitting here coming to comment sections and just hiding the comment sections under trolly account stuff. Be a fucking man. No more cowards. Hashtag no more cowards. I posted a link to my Discord chat. I posted a link. I also posted my phone number. Call in. Hashtag no more cowards. No more hiding behind sock accounts. No more hiding behind troll accounts. No more hiding behind things to protect your pussy ass, punk ass emotions. Call the fuck in. I'm waiting. There's no excuse, right? I guarantee you they won't do it, right? All they're gonna do is fucking troll or not directly engage me because again, these people are a bunch of bitches who can't face a goddamn challenge. A bunch of bitches. They're just running. See? I'm waiting for that phone call, right? And you see, you don't hear the Skype tone, right? You don't hear shit. You don't hear shit. You hear nothing. See, that's why I do respect. I respect the fuck out of Charming Cthulhu, because the one thing is we may not agree we may not agree on everything, but the one thing about the man is that he will directly confront me. I have nothing but respect for that. But do you see what I mean now? Whenever you try to directly confront certain people, all they can do is troll. All they can do is troll. And really, Charming Cthulhu is not really a MAGA guy. He just feels bottlenecked into the party. I'm pretty sure at this moment, if there was a serious third party, he's gone. He is gone. Okay? You know, you have to think to yourself, MAGA is burning so many bridges that it's getting to the point where it's like it's hard to not notice. Hawaii Proud Boys leader seen smoking during Capitol riot to appear in federal court in Honolulu. Oh my God. Nick Ox posted a selfie to Twitter with the caption, "Hello from the Capitol." Laugh out loud. Well, hello from federal prison, sir. Laugh out loud. You're going to federal prison, sir. Okay? Posting this in the chat. Here's a link to the article in the chat. All right. Let's cover this real quick. Hawaii Proud Boys leader Nick Ox is expected to appear in federal court in Honolulu on Monday after flying back from Washington, D.C., where he allegedly stormed the U.S. Capitol with a crowd of pro-Trump demonstrators interrupting the official Electoral College certification. Nick R. Ox, a resident of Hawaii, has been charged with one count of unlawful entry into restricted buildings or grounds. He is a leader of the Hawaii chapter of the Proud Boys organization and has the words "Proud Boy" tattooed on his right forearm, according to court documents. He was arrested at He was arrested at an airport in Hawaii on Thursday. I'm not going to try to pronounce that freaking airport. Screw that. At 4:13 p.m. on January 6th, Ox shared a selfie appearing to smoke a cigarette with another man inside the Capitol. The photo was captioned, "Hello from the Capitol," and was shared by Ox for Hawaii. Oh my God. Listen. Look at this fucking idiot. Look at this fucking idiot. This man sat there and posted a picture of him committing the crime. You know what? They should also charge him for smoking in a federal building. Just hit him with as many fucking charges as possible. Why would you post a picture of you committing a fucking crime? You goddamn idiot. Ox later admitted to a CNN reporter that he entered the Capitol, and CNN published a photograph that appeared to depict Ox in the crowd walking through the Capitol halls, according to the criminal complaint filed in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. I'm gonna give you a link to that court filing because I'm gonna check the Skype real quick. Let me see if anyone's called. No, once again, no. Check my Discord server. Nope, no one's joined. So once again, Tom, let me see, Tom Z Wonderful, whatever your goddamn name is. If you appear again, you're getting banned from the goddamn chat. Okay. The one thing that I don't like is goddamn cowards. I don't like cowards. Stop being a coward. Man up. Call in. I left you a goddamn number. I gave you a link to a freaking Discord server. Show the fuck up. Stop trying to make a freaking a fucking sock. Just come in under your real account and just call a motherfucker. Stop being a bitch. Once again, these motherfuckers are just bitches. That's all they are. A bunch of bitches. But let's move on. We didn't have to break in. I just walked in and filmed. Ox told CNN. They're having the count. Right? They're certifying the electoral college count. Do you honestly think they just let him walk in? Okay. This man is a fucking idiot. However, investigators noted that some rioters pushed over barricades and shoved police officers out of the way to enter the Capitol, while others scaled walls and broke windows. There were thousands of people in there. They had no control of the situation. I didn't get stopped or questioned. Ox also told CNN once inside the building, claiming that he was working as a professional journalist and did not enter any offices or chambers. Do you think, sir, possibly, right? Do you think that it's possible that if that's the Capitol building, that perhaps you shouldn't fucking be in there, even if you can just walk in? That maybe that's not a place that you should be at that moment if they're certifying the electoral college count? Do you think that that's potentially possible? Again, these people say they come online giving these stupid fucking excuses, right? They come online doing this shit. Well, you see, some of them could have been Antifa. How do you know that some of them weren't BLM? Well, you know, not everybody. That again, they go online with these bullshit excuses, right? So then they go into the real world, and because people on the internet are so fucking retarded, they believe in fucking Bigfoot, aliens, all that shit. They'll just believe that shit, especially if they're fucking racist. So they'll just believe that shit. The problem is that when you take the same bullshit and you try to actually bring it outside of the fucking internet, when the average regular person who's not a goddamn retard hears that shit, they're gonna say, this sounds pretty fucking retarded. I don't believe this shit. And they're going to immediately fucking dismiss it. Ox is expected to appear before Magistrate Judge Wes Rober Porter on Monday. He will likely be extradited back to D.C. for trial. FBI Special Agent Roger R. Dean identified Ox in photographs taken January 6 inside the Capitol, not only from context, but also from comparing the image to photographs of Ox from his 2020 bid for election to the Hawaii state legislature, according to the criminal complaint. So they took pictures of this man when he ran for the Hawaii state legislature. Pictures that he took inside the Capitol and just simply compared them. These people, how the fuck do you run for office and want to commit a public crime? Why would you do that? What? Help me, chat. I need you to help me understand. I'm having a mental breakdown here. Chat. Help me understand. Why do you run for public office but publicly commit a crime? Chat, help me out here, chat. Let me know in the chat. Type it out in the chat. I want you to type out a response in the chat. Let me know. Why do you run for public office but then publicly commit a crime? Why would you do this and expect to get away with it? Help me, chat. Ox ran for election to be the Republican representative for Hawaii House District 22. He was defeated by a 28-year-old Democrat, Adrian Tam, who carried 63% of the vote, KITV reported. The Proud Boys have been vocal since the 2020 presidential election in calling for action over the false claim that President Trump lost the election due to widespread voter fraud, Dean wrote in the complaint. Some members have advocated for violent action to achieve these ends. Self-identified members of the Proud Boys ascended on Washington, D.C. earlier this week as part of activities planned to protest the certification of the 2020 U.S. presidential election results, Dean continued. Wow. Another Proud Boys leader, Enrique Dario, who lives in Miami, was arrested in Washington, D.C. 2 days prior to the Capitol Hill riot. If he wasn't arrested 2 days prior, he would have been there. He was charged over allegedly burning a Black Lives Matter banner outside a historic black church in December during demonstrations in the nation's capital, where pro-Trump supporters and Proud Boys clashed with local activists and Antifa. Tario was banned from the District of Columbia Tuesday. So he got banned from the District of Columbia on November 16th, 2020. On November 16th, 2020, Ox posted the social media site Parler, sharing a tweet by President Trump declaring, "I won the election." According to the complaint, Ox stated, "Show this tweet to the leftists that say they won't do shit when he keeps being president. Don't say it was stolen or rigged. Just say we're doing it and they won't fight back. They are getting scared and they don't function when they're scared." Parler went off. So they don't function when they're scared. Okay. All right. That's not projection. I promise you. Parler went offline Monday after Amazon booted it from its service. Apple and Google had already removed the app from their respective stores over concerns about messages inciting further violence after the riot on Capitol Hill. At least 5 people, including a U.S. Capitol police officer, died as a consequence of the riot. A protester who was a U.S. Air Force veteran was fatally shot by police inside the Capitol building. The FBI confirmed to Fox News Monday that it has received over 40,000 digital media tips, including video and photos from the public, which will be used to help identify additional suspects. You can't be a criminal and then post about it. You can't be a criminal and then post about it. Why would you be a criminal and then post about it? Chat, help me out. Why would you be a criminal and then post about it, chat? Let me know, chat. Why would you want to engage in criminal acts but post about it on social media? Let me know, chat. Why would you do that? Would you do that to display your intelligence? Or would you do that to display how fucking retarded you are? Let me chat. I want you to help me out. Help me understand. Why would you, if your goal, right? If your goal is to try to get people to accept you, if your goal is to try to get people to not judge you as hard, if your goal is to try to get people to see things your ways, right? Why would you post about yourself committing criminal acts? Why would you do that? I want you to help me out. Why would you, in the midst of a very contentious election year, right? If you really thought that this was the one year in which, if you didn't say something, if you didn't do something, that the country was pretty much gonna end. If you truly believed that, right? And you truly believed that, then why, I ask you, why would you then go out of your way to demonize yourself? Now, let's go here. I want you guys to show you something again. Something that's happening in Washington State right now. Right now, there's some things that's happening across the country that I want you guys to see. Things that honestly kind of concern me. This is starting to ramp up in ways that I just did not see coming. Did not see coming. All right, so this is related to the Capitol raid, but things are getting crazy. So this is coming from NPR, KUOW. NPR. Washington Capitol turned into a secure fortress ahead of legislative session. State troopers brought in from all over Washington, 750 National Guard members at the ready, and a fence surrounding the state capitol. That's a scene in Olympia as the legislator prepares to convene on Monday, along with a crowd of protesters outside wanting the fences to be taken down. About 24 people here are staring at Washington State Patrol and National Guard. I've seen at least 2 long guns in the crowd so far. A few people are yelling nonstop at law enforcement, demanding to be let inside the Capitol building. One person has a bullhorn. All right, let's. This is in Washington State. This is out of Washington State right now. This outside the State House. People are there's armed protesters. There's 2 long guns that's already out there. There's 2 people out there with AR-15s. And there's members of the National Guard and state police who have to stand out there and try to protect the Washington State, the Washington State House. So once again, this is happening all over the country, man. It's just getting pretty wild. All right, guys, so we've been running about 2 hours. We're going to take a 30-minute break. We'll be back with more Pitchfork Podcast. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to be right back with more Pitchfork Podcast. And let me go ahead and...
like, comment.
Let me go ahead and put on what I had on earlier.
The one cry feeling this election. The media's covering it up. Covering it up. The one cry feeling this election. The media's covering it up. Covering it up.
Get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons. Get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
The one cry feeling this election. The media's covering it up. Covering it up. The one cry feeling this election.
Jesus.
The media's covering it up.
Frickin'
Covering it up. They want our freedom for the world. Give us our freedom, Joe Biden, for the world. The media's covering it up. Covering it up. Stealing that. Stealing that. Stealing that.
Get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons. God, get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha.
Strike and smash. Take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy.
Ha ha.
Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy, the king of disease. My daddy, the king of death.
Victory, victory.
Smashed it with your iron rod. Smashed it.
God, my daddy. I do not care what doctors say. I don't care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says.
Strike and smash. Take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. They can't beat my daddy. This is the highest level witchcraft and manipulations, massive warfare, massive witchcraft, a feminine spirit.
frickin' raccoons, man. Ah, Jesus, frickin' raccoons. God, get frickin' raccoons, man. Ah, Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha.
Strike and smash. God, Rika D, take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy.
Ha ha.
Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy, the king of disease. My daddy, the king of death.
Victory.
Smashed it with your iron rod. Smashed it.
God, my daddy. I do not care what doctors say. I don't care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says.
Strike and smash. God, Rika D, take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. They can't beat my daddy. This is the highest level witchcraft and manipulations. Massive warfare, massive witchcraft, a feminine spirit. Told me about a guy who was rah, rah, rah until the news started saying things. And all of a sudden he said, well, Trump should have humbled himself. Well, things would have been different if. Things are different only when God says they are different. I don't care. I do not care. I don't care what the media says. Care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says. Care what states say. Care what government says. I certainly don't care what doctors say, teachers say, businesses say.
We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha.
Strike and smash. God, Rika D, take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy.
Strike and smash. God, take your iron rod. God, by the lost daddy. Can't beat my daddy. Devil said what? God, now is the time.
They can't beat my daddy.
Strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound. Strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound. Amanda ata raka deda baka santa ata. Amanda ata raka deda baka santa ata. From Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here from South America. Angelic forces, angelic reinforcement. And strike the ground. I hear a sound. Strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound. Amanda ata raka deda baka santa ata. Tika kata ata. Ema bata rata ate eke. Africa right now. From Africa right now. From Africa right now. From Africa right now.
The one cry feeling, feel this election. The media's covering up. The one cry feeling, feel this election. The media's covering up.
Get frickin' raccoons, man. Ah, Jesus, frickin' raccoons. Get frickin' raccoons, man. Ah, Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
The one cry feeling, feel this election. The media's covering up. The one cry feeling, feel this election.
Jesus.
The media's covering up.
Frickin'
They want our freedom for the world. Give us our freedom, Joe Biden, for the world. The media's covering up. Stealing it.
Get frickin' raccoons, man. Ah, Jesus, frickin' raccoons. God, get frickin' raccoons, man. Ah, Jesus, frickin' Frickin' raccoons.
The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha.
Strike and smash. God, Ricky, take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy.
Ha ha.
Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. The king of disease. My daddy. The king of death.
Victory.
Smashed it with your iron rod. Smashed it.
God, my daddy. I do not care what doctors say. I don't care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says.
Strike and smash. God, Ricky, take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. They can't beat my daddy. This is the highest level witchcraft and manipulations. Massive warfare, massive witchcraft. A feminine spirit told me about a guy who was rah, rah, rah until the news started saying things. And all of a sudden he said, well, Trump should have humbled himself. Well, things would have been different if. Things are different only when God says they are different. I don't care. I do not care. I don't care what the media says. Care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says. Care what states say. Care what government says. I certainly don't care what doctors say, teachers say, businesses say.
We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha.
Strike and smash. God, Ricky, take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy.
Strike and smash. God, take your iron rod. God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my daddy. Devil said what? God, now is the time. Is
They can't beat my daddy.
strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound. A strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound. Amanda ata raka deda baka santa ata. Amanda ata raka deda baka santa ata. From Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here from South America. Angelic forces, angelic reinforcement. And strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound. A strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound. Amanda ata raka deda baka santa ata. Ika kata ata. Boom bata rata ata eke. In Africa right now. From Africa right now. From Africa right now. From Africa right now.
The one cry feeling feel this election. The media's covering it up. The one cry feeling feel this election. The media's covering it up.
Yeah, frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons. Yeah, frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
The one cry feeling feel this election. The media's covering it up. The one cry feeling feel this election.
Jesus.
The media's covering it up.
Frickin'
They want our freedom for the world. Give us our freedom, Joe Biden, for the world. The media's covering it up.
Yeah.
Covering it up. Stealing it.
Yeah, frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons. God, yeah, frickin' raccoons. Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha.
Strike and smash. God, Rika D, take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my daddy.
The devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. The king of disease. My daddy. The king of death.
Victory.
Smashed it with your iron rod. Smashed it.
God, my daddy. I do not care what doctors say. I don't care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says.
Strike and smash. God, Rika D, take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my daddy.
The devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. They can't beat my daddy. This is the highest level witchcraft and manipulations. Massive warfare, massive witchcraft. A feminine spirit told me about a guy who was rah, rah, rah until the news started saying things. And all of a sudden he said, well, Trump should have humbled himself. Well, things would have been different if. Things are different only when God says they are different. I don't care. I do not care. I don't care what the media says. Care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says. Care what states say. Care what government says. I certainly don't care what doctors say, teachers say, businesses say.
We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha.
Strike and smash. God, Rika D, take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy.
Strike and smash. God, take your iron rod. God, by the lost daddy. Can't beat my daddy. Devil said what? God, now is the time.
They can't beat my daddy.
Strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound of strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound of manda ata raka deda baka sanda ata. Hamanda ata raka deda baka sanda ata. From Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here from South America. Angelic forces, angelic reinforcement, and strike the ground. I hear a sound of strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound of manda ata raka deda baka sanda ata. Tika kata ata. Bema bata rata ate eke. In Africa right now. From Africa right now. From Africa right now.
The one cry feeling this election. The media's covering it up. The one cry feeling this election. The media's covering it up.
Get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons. Get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
The one cry feeling this election. The media's covering it up. The one cry feeling this election.
Jesus.
The media's covering it up.
Frickin'
They want our freedom for the world. Give us our freedom, Joe Biden, for the world. The media's covering it up. Stealing that.
Get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons. God, get frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
The one cry feeling
Frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons. Frickin' raccoons, man. Jesus, frickin' raccoons.
The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha.
Strike and smash. God, Rika D, take your iron rod.
God, He's my daddy, the king of death.
Victory, victory.
Smashed it with your iron rod. Smashed it.
God, my daddy. I do not care. Care what doctors say. I don't care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says.
Strike and strike and smash. God, beat the DJ. Take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my daddy.
The devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy. They can't beat my daddy. This is the highest level witchcraft and manipulations, massive warfare, massive witchcraft. A feminine spirit told me about a guy who was rah 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 until the news started saying things, and all of a sudden he said, "Well, Trump should have humbled himself." Well, things would have been different if. Things are different only when God says they are different. I don't care. I do not care. I don't care what the media says. Care what Arizona says. Care what Pennsylvania says. Care what states say. Care what government says. I certainly don't care what doctors say, teachers say, businesses say.
We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha. We win. Ha ha.
Strike and strike and smash. God, beat the DJ. Take your iron rod.
God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my
The
daddy.
devil said what?
God, now is the time.
There is no law.
They can't beat my daddy.
Strike and smash. God, take your iron rod. God, by the lust of daddy. Can't beat my daddy. Devil said what? God, now is the time.
They can't beat my daddy.
Strike and strike and strike and strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound of strike and strike and strike and strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound of manta ata ata raka deda deda baka santa ata hamanta ata raka deda deda baka santa ata. From Africa right now, Africa right now, Africa right now, from Africa right now. They're coming here from South America. Angelic forces, angelic reinforcement, and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound of strike and strike and strike and strike and strike the ground. I hear a sound of manta ata ata raka deda deda baka santa ata hika kata ata ata beba bata rata ata eke in Africa right now, Africa right now, Africa right now, from Africa right now, from Africa right now, Africa right now, Africa right now, from Africa right now.
The one cry family feel this election. The media's covering it up. Covering it up. The one cry family feel this election.
All right, guys, we're back for more Pitchfork podcast. The Biden Cross family still in this election. The meaning's coming up. All right. All right, that song is amazing, guys. We are back from break. All right, letting the chat know. All right, the Biden Cross family still in this election. The meaning's coming up. I just that song is my spirit animal. Okay, that song is my spirit animal. I love that song. That song's amazing. All right. Now, with that being said, guys, this is the Pitchfork podcast. This is a show that you can participate in. You can participate in this show. This is your show. You guys can call in. The number to call in is 253-203-6784. All right. So with that being said, guys, let people know I run this podcast. Get this link to the podcast to all your MAGA friends, all your Trump supporting MAGA friends, all your Proud Boy friends. I know you got some on your social media. I know you got some. I know you do. Because I do. Oh my God. I do. I got some on my timeline. And I want you to understand, there's a reason why I want those people to call in. There's a reason why I want those people here. I want those people here so that they can hear this podcast and they can be liberated. They're their ideas of their delusions of grandeur, I can unburden that from them, right? Because some people think that the only reason why some people reject their ideas is because those people are full of shit or anything else. And I gotta admit, even sometimes I've done that. But sometimes it just all depends on how you say things. Now, me personally, I don't give a shit no more. See, it's all about engagement with me. It's not about, trying to understand folks from a standpoint of I'm going to hear a different opinion and now I'm going to change my mind because you've Googled one thing on the interwebs and you found one thing on a YouTube video from Black Pigeon Speaks or from Brandon Tatum, where suddenly your magical viewpoint is going to crash and shatter my worldview. Well, I have a number for you to call in. 253-203-6784. Again, the number is 253-203-6784. Share that number with your Trump-supporting friends, with your MAGA friends, with your Proud Boy friends. I especially want to talk to the Proud Boy friends. And anyone who supported that Capitol riot. The MAGA, the MAGA D-Day, or as I call, the MAGA Re-Day. Yeah, I want to hear from you. Number to call in is 253-203-6784. And even if you don't agree, if you just want to make a general comment, if you just want to talk, if you just want to voice your concern, if you just want to tell people how you're doing during this pandemic, call into the number. Let me know how your life has been going during this pandemic. If you cannot call in, I will give you an invite code to my Discord server, The Inferno. You can join in there and you can join the voice chat, and I can make it so that it's like a normal phone call. I understand that during this period, a lot of people can't afford phones, so I still want to make it. I want to still make it so that people can participate in the show. We have a comment from Twitch. I am Fuse Painter 86 on Twitch, by the way. I have a feeling this is from gamer JM. I have a feeling it's gonna get worse. We're all feeding into the bullshit, the propaganda, the agenda, the people who don't have our best interests in mind. Gamer JM. The one thing that I'm going to say is, what propaganda are we feeding into? I mean, people say that a lot, right? But a lot of times people don't really articulate what they mean by that. So I would like for you to, on Twitch, to articulate what you mean by that, or call in. The number to call in is 253-203-6784. Again, the number to call in is 253-203-6784. If you cannot call in, click on that link for my Discord server. You can join Discord, and yeah, right. So you think that the Capitol storming, gamer JMM, was a result of people feeding into propaganda? I would like for you to call in and kind of explain to the audience like what you mean by that, because I could say what I feel, right? But and we could actually agree or disagree, and it sounds like we kind of agree, but I would like for you to kind of articulate it in your own words, because again, the Pitchfork podcast is a grind your gears type of show. It's a show that's made for the every woman and the every man, right? It's a show that's made for the outrage of the center. It's not made for the extremes. You're not going to find far left opinions here. You're not going to find far right opinions here. You're going to find what a lot of people are feeling right in the center. And so that's what this show is made for. It's made to pull those people back from the edges and make them realize there is shit that goes bump in the night. There is shit that is fucked up. And I want people to realize that. And I want people to question everything that they hear. Now, while we wait for more calls, we're going to get into more news. Now, guys, share this stream, hit the like button, hit the share button, let people know that I run the stream. Share this stream, the link to this stream on every timeline that you have, so that people know that I run this podcast. I'm going to give you the link to the stream in the chat. Share that link everywhere. I am on DLive, I'm on Trovo, I'm on VK, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitch, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. Parler's gone. Oh my God, Parler's gone. I'm on Gab, I'm on Minds, I'm everywhere. I should probably get on BitChute and get on the auto upload there, on the auto uploader there, and start streaming on BitChute as well. I'm gonna get on that after this podcast. I'm gonna get on that immediately. But let's get into the news, because I want to see how crazy things have gotten. All right, let's go into the live scene. All right, we've already covered this story about the Hawaii Proud Boys leader who's been arrested. So we're going to post that link again in the chat. All right. So let's get into the news. The man seen in viral photo hauling off Pelosi lecturing during Capitol riot, booked in Florida jail. More than 82 people have been arrested in connection with Wednesday's deadly riots. It published 2 days ago, updated last 3 hours ago. All right. The man who authorities say was photographed carrying House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's lectern through the U.S. Capitol during last week's riot was booked into jail in Florida this weekend, a new video shows. Adam Christian Johnson, 36, was picked up by Pinellas County Sheriff's Office deputies Friday night on a federal warrant, according to an agency report. On Monday, WFLA shared video obtained from authorities of Johnson being processed into the Pinellas County Jail over the weekend. Police records on Monday also showed that Johnson has also been released from custody, but the terms of his release were not immediately clear. Here's a video of him being booked into jail. Oh my God! There you go. There, Adam Johnson, the parish man who was allegedly seen carrying a lectern during the Capitol riot, was booked into the Pinellas County Jail over the weekend. Authorities released video on Mondays. This is our boy Adam Johnson carrying Pelosi's lectern, who's being booked into the jail right now. He's getting the old treatment. Oh, Adam, you want to use your face, sir. And here comes the cost to be the boss. He said, I'm gonna carry this lectern out of this here chamber. And I guess it's a Dukes of Hazzard types of moment. The old Duke boys didn't realize they were gonna catch some trouble. And old Adam, he's wearing his old flip-flops. The Florida man, he's the Florida man meme. You know that meme? He is that meme. Oh, Adam. Adam. The Sheriff's Office has referred questions from Fox News to the U.S. Marshal Service, which didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. The Justice Department on Saturday said in a statement that Johnson was charged with one count of knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building or grounds without lawful authority, one count of theft of government property, and one count of violent entry and disorderly conduct in the Capitol grounds. It is alleged that on January 6, 2021, Johnson illegally entered the United States Capitol and removed the Speaker of the House's lectern from where it had been stored on the House side of the Capitol building, the statement reads. A search of open sources led law enforcement to Johnson, who was allegedly seen in a widely circulated photo inside the Capitol carrying the lectern. The Bennington Herald first identified Johnson as the man in the photo that quickly garnered attention Wednesday after a pro-Trump mob stormed the Capitol as Congress was counting electoral votes, a formality before President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. And there's our boy. There's our boy. The hours-long siege left at least 5 people dead, including a Capitol police officer. Johnson, who was photographed wearing a Trump hat with Trump's name on it, is a registered voter from Parrish, Florida, though he is not affiliated with any particular party, according to Manatee County voter registration records. Now, I guarantee you, the right's going to grab that. Is going to grab that one sentence and say, "Ha! See, he could be Antifa." Shut the fuck up. Stop it. Stop it. I know they're going to grab that one thing, right? That one thing. And they're going to ride with that, right? They're going to just ride with that. They're going to just ride with that. They're going to grab that one statement and they're going to ride with that. They're going to say, see, how do you know he's not Antifa? He's wearing a Trump hat, but they say he has no political affiliation. You know, he could be anybody. He could be anybody. How do you know? You devil's advocate, how do you know that this man was a Trump voter? See, he could be anybody. He could be the government. How do you know he's not government? See, devil's advocate, you're just feeding into the media's bullshit. See, you're fake news, devil's advocate. Devil's advocate, you've changed. You've changed, devil's advocate. You've changed. Devil's advocate, you changed. You changed, devil's advocate. You changed. Devil's advocate. Hey, I tell you what, devil's advocate, you have changed. You have still changed. You know, I am from the country. I tell you what, I am from the great state of Alabama. I was born in Mississippi, but I live in South Carolina, South Kakalaki. All right. Sometimes I stay in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Yes, sirree. I'm a red-blooded American. I go to church every Sunday. I pay double my tithes. Not 10%, I pay 20%. Because the Lord is worth double. What the Bible say. Some would say he's worth even more than that. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. I might catch the Holy Ghost in here. I don't want to do a backflip because the whole table will actually flip and my dog will get very, very scared. And you know what? Praise the Lord. I want to do it, but the Lord sees my heart. The Lord knows I want to do that backflip. Lord knows that. Now, devil's advocate, you don't know if those people were Antifa. You don't know, devil's advocate. Devil's advocate, you just feeding into the Black Lives Matter propaganda. See, I always knew you were gonna be a turncoat, devil's advocate. Now, granted, you already explained from the very, very start, devil's advocate, that you weren't really on the team. That as soon as you know some bullshit, you're gonna skedaddle. You're gonna just skedaddle. You're gonna just get out of the way. Well, devil's advocate, you're an asshole. All right. See, that's why you people can't get anywhere now. Wait. I'm not racist. I'm not racist. I swear, devil's advocate, don't you call me racist. Don't you call me racist. I just have a Confederate flag on my front porch. And this Nazi tattoo. Yeah, I got a Nazi tattoo. All right. Got it back in Mississippi. Back in 1984. Before you were born, boy. Now, granted, I call you boy because I'm older than you, not because you're black. Granted, I don't call younger white boys this, but it ain't because you're black. I swear. I'm not racist, but. Well, I didn't bring up race. Why you? I'm not racist, but. Okay? I'm not racist. I didn't bring up race. I'm not racist, but. Devil's advocate. Now, that election was stolen from us. It was stolen from us. From us. Y'all stole it. Devil's advocate. How come you can't play devil's advocate, devil's advocate? It's just a channel name. I mean, I don't think that PewDiePie is literally a PewDiePie. I think that it's just a channel. Devil's advocate, you play devil's advocate, devil's advocate. Devil's advocate, I am pro Blue Lives Matter. Well, but y'all killed a cop. I am pro Blue Lives Matter, devil's advocate. But y'all killed a cop, didn't y'all? I am pro Blue Lives Matter, devil's advocate. I am pro Blue Lives Matter. I am pro crime, but I'm anti-mask because that makes sense in the same sentence. Devil's advocate. A devil's advocate. You're a good guy. You're a good guy. But I'm gonna unsubscribe because you've changed. Devil's advocate. Well, then, sorry you feel that way. No one watches you, devil's advocate, but you are. In order for you to say that live, devil's advocate, fuck you. See, that's how y'all sound. That's what it sounds like. Devil's advocate. How could you say the things that you're saying? Easy, I just say them. So, we have some breaking news, guys. Breaking news. Some things that are happening as we speak. Some things that are happening as we speak. All right, breaking news. Let's go over to the last scene. FBI is now warning of armed protests in all 50 states. The FBI is warning of armed protests in all 50 states. They're going to try this in all 50 states. FBI warns of armed protests being planned in all 50 state capitals and in Washington, D.C. It's published on Monday, which is today. Breaking news. Breaking news. Share the stream out, guys. We got a FBI warning. The FBI has received information indicating armed protests are being planned at all 50 state capitals and the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. in the days leading up to President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration.
Who is the vice president?
On January 20th, according to an internal bulletin obtained by CNN. The news comes as security measures are being stepped up ahead of the inauguration day, with federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies preparing for the possibility of more violence after rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol last week, leaving 5 people dead, including a Capitol police officer. Even as federal investigators continue to track down suspects from last week's attack, the bulletin highlights concerns that the U.S. Capitol siege was perhaps just the beginning of potentially violent actions from supporters of President Donald Trump, who have been animated by his lies about a stolen election. Armed protesters are being planned at all 50 state capitals from 16 January through at least 20 January, and at least U.S. Capitol and at the U.S. Capitol from 17 January through 20 January. The FBI bulletin says it also suggests that there are threats of an uprising if Trump is removed via the 25th Amendment before Inauguration Day. On 8 January, the FBI received information on an identified group calling for others to join them in storming state, local, and federal government courthouses and administrative buildings in the event POTUS is removed as president prior to the inauguration day. This identified group is also planning to storm government offices, including the District of Columbia and in every state, regardless of whether the states certify electoral votes for Biden or Trump on 20 January. The bulletin adds. It's an FBI bulletin. The FBI is also tracking reports of various threats to harm President-elect Biden ahead of the presidential inauguration, the bulletin states. Additional reports indicate threats against VP-elect Harris and Speaker Pelosi. ABC News was the first to report the FBI bulletin. Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser on Monday urged Americans to avoid the city during Biden's inauguration next week and participate virtually following last week's deadly domestic terror attack on the U.S. Capitol. Speaking at a news conference Monday, Bowser, a Democrat, stressed that she was concerned about more violent actors potentially coming to the city in the run-up to the inauguration, saying, "If I'm scared of anything, it's for our democracy because we have very extreme factions in our country that are armed and dangerous. Trumpism won't die on January 20th, said Bowser, who has asked Trump and acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf to declare a pre-disaster declaration for D.C. Bowser told CBS's Face the Nation on Sunday that she will also ask the Department of Homeland Security to begin a national special security event timeline sooner than planned, as well as include the U.S. Capitol in their coverage area for the inauguration. DHS Secretary's resignation. Security preparations were further complicated when Wolf, one of the key figures coordinating the effort, resigned on Monday. In one of his last acts, Wolf said on Monday that he had instructed the U.S. Secret Service to begin the national special security event operations for Biden's inauguration on Wednesday instead of January 19th, the day before Biden is set to be inaugurated. In the light of events of the past week and the evolving security landscape leading up to the inauguration, and at the recommendation of the Secret Service Director James Murray, I have instructed the U.S. Secret Service to begin the National Special Security Event operations for the 2021 inauguration effective Wednesday, January 13th, instead of January 19th, Wolf said in a statement. Our federal, state, and local partners will continue to coordinate their plans and position resources for this important event. Meanwhile, calls for new protests in Washington and states across the country have law enforcement bracing for possible violence in the coming days. A Department of Homeland Security official told CNN that the breach of the Capitol will sharpen the response and planning for inauguration. Now that it happened, people will take it much more seriously, the official said, referring to last week's violence. Now, the planners, they are all going to take it much more seriously. Additional security personnel are expected to arrive in Washington to help with the inauguration, CNN has learned. Law enforcement agencies in Virginia, Maryland, and New Jersey that deployed to the U.S. Capitol Wednesday to assist propel pro-Trump rioters expect to send officers to Washington, D.C. for the inauguration. The New York Police Department will also be sending 200 officers to Washington to assist with the effort, according to Detective Christopher Pisano, a spokesperson. The National Guard has plans to send up to 15,000 National Guard troops to meet current and future requests for the inauguration. General David Hokanson, the chief of the National Guard Bureau, said Monday. The dramatic increase in troops comes as law enforcement in the nation's capital and around the country brace for further extremist violence amid the transition of power. Security ramping up across the country. Law enforcement agencies are also ramping up security at the state level in preparation for potentially violent demonstrations leading up to Biden's inauguration. Shannon Banner, spokesperson for Michigan State Police, said they are aware of the march on state capitals that is being promoted online, and they will continue watching for security threats. Our security planning is fluid, and adjustments are made as needed from day to day, Banner said. Security enhancements that can be put in place include both seen and unseen measures. In general, we don't discuss security measures, but I can confirm that out of an abundance of caution, we are increasing our visible presence at the Capitol for the next couple of weeks, starting today. The Michigan State Capitol Commission on Monday also banned the open carry of firearms inside the state's Capitol building, effective immediately. The policy change only affects public areas inside the Capitol and does not change policy on Capitol grounds, nor does it prohibit licensed concealed pistol carry that allows state laws that follow state laws according to the commission policy. Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer, citing armed protests at the Michigan State Capitol building in April and recent violence at the U.S. Capitol, said the commission should recognize the need for a ban on all weapons. Governor Whitmer, shut the fuck up. You help to propel some of this shit. You need to ban all weapons because, again, just because you have armed security doesn't mean that the fucking rest of us do, okay? So shut the fuck up, Wimmer. Your stupid actions helped to cause some of this dumb shit. Yeah, Trump supporters who showed up there are fucking idiots. Granted, absolutely. Throw them in jail. Line them up against the goddamn wall. They are traitors. They're fucking committed goddamn treason. But let's also be honest. All right, Whitmer, you're taking advantage of this shit to justify some of the bullshit that you fucking done. So shut the fuck up, okay? So there's an FBI bulletin according to ABC News.
Service at the ready. At Mercedes-Benz, it's not just a job, it's our...
So I'm going to give you guys this ABC News article here. All right. Let's get into it. Let's get into some more news. So that was from ABC News, but I pretty much covered the same thing. Angela Merkel rips Twitter's problematic Trump ban. German law compels companies to remove possibly illegal material within 24 hours of being notified. Pardon me. All right. So, a spokesman for Chancellor Angela Merkel said Monday that the German leader regards President Donald Trump's eviction from Twitter by the company to be problematic. Twitter permanently suspended Trump from the social media platform on Friday, citing a risk of further incitement of violence after supporters of the outgoing president stormed the U.S. Capitol to protest Congress's certification of the Electoral College vote. Asked about Twitter's decision, Merkel's spokesman Stefan Siebert said social media companies bear great responsibility for political communication not being poisoned by hatred, by lies, and by incitement to violence. He said it's not right to stand back when such content is posted, for example, by flagging it, but qualified that the freedom of opinion is a fundamental right of elementary significance. Siebert said that the U.S. ought to follow Germany's example in how it handles online incitement. Rather than leaving it up to tech companies to make their own rules, German law compels these companies to remove possibly illegal material within 24 hours of it being notified or face up to $60.8 million in fines. Oh my God, that is pretty draconian. This fundamental right can be intervened in, but according to the law and within the framework defined by legislators, not according to a decision by the management of social media platforms, he told the reporters in Berlin. Seen from this angle, the chancellor considers it problematic that the accounts of the U.S. president have now been permanently blocked. Facebook on Thursday suspended Trump's account through January 20th, the day of President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration, and possibly indefinitely. Merkel herself does not have a Twitter account, although Siebert does and many German government ministers do. So Merkel and her spokesperson doesn't agree with, Trump being banned on Twitter. Liberal senator calls on Senate Ethics Committee to expel, censure, or punish Cruz and Hawley. You know what? I'm all for this. I'm all for this. Expel them, punish them. They are garbage. They are garbage. They're bad people. Expel them. Yes. Yes. Josh Hawley, expel. Ted Cruz, expel. Anybody that pushed that conspiracy theory, expelled. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, Democrat from Rhode Island, called for the expulsion of Senators Josh Hawley, Republican from Missouri, and Ted Cruz, Republican from Texas, from the Senate on Monday over their leadership in efforts to object to electoral votes as they were being counted during a joint session of Congress last week. Hawley and Cruz have faced significant pushback for the ejection for the objections after violent protesters stormed the Capitol building, interrupting the congressional proceedings on Wednesday. While some Republicans changed their stance on the objections once order was restored, Hawley and Cruz maintained their positions. The Senate Ethics Committee must also consider the expulsion or censure or in punishment of Senators Cruz, Hawley, and perhaps others, White House said in a statement after calling for the Senate investigation to conduct security review of what happened and what went wrong. White House also called for both Republicans to be kept out of participating in any investigation because Congress has protections from the Department of Justice under separation of powers, specifically the speech and debate clause. Significant investigation will need to be done in the Senate, he said, because of massive potential conflict of interest. Senators Cruz, Hawley, and Johnson, at least, need to be off all relevant committees reviewing this matter until the investigation of their role is complete. White House is just the latest Democrat to call for Hawley and Cruz to leave office. Senators Sherrod Brown, Democrat from Ohio, Patty Murray, Democrat from Washington, and Chris Coons, Democrat from Delaware, all call on the two Republicans to resign. While Hawley and Cruz were vocal supporters of the Electoral College rejections, neither one endorsed force or violence. Both condemned the violence and said that those who broke the law should face consequences. When you constantly repeat the same phrase, the election's been stolen, what do you think that you're causing? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Type it out in the chat. If you are a politician and you repeat ad nauseum that the election was stolen, that they're trying to steal the country from you, that your votes aren't counting, that someone's trying to silence you, and someone's trying to take something from you, right? When you repeat that ad nauseum and you keep that going on and on and on, what do you think you are inciting? What do you think people are going to take that as? What do you think people are going to take that as? Are they going to take that as the election is fair? Or are they going to take that as I should grab my gun because things are unfair? What do you think they're going to take that as when you repeat that ad nauseum? Cruz called what happened Wednesday a terrorist attack and a horrific assault on our democracy. He called for those involved to face prosecution. In an interview with KXAS TV, Cruz claimed that by calling for a debate in the Senate, he was following proper procedure and in no way was involved in violent activity. What I was doing is debating on the floor of the Senate election integrity, Cruz said. That has nothing to do with this criminal terrorist assault, which was wrong and needs to be prosecuted. It's exactly the opposite. What I was doing is how you're supposed to resolve issues in this country. No, you are not supposed to lie to people. You are not supposed to lie to people. Because if you constantly lie to people as a elected leader, what you're doing is that you're instructing them. If you tell people as an elected leader that someone's stealing an election from you, and you say that ad nauseum over and over and over again, what you are doing is that you're telling them you must act. So if a politician came on TV right now and says China is invading the country right now, you're going to act. That politician didn't tell you to act, but you're going to act out of self-interest.
It's final.
The actions of Republican lawmakers who tried to overturn the violent results of the 2020 elections must not only be condemned in the strongest possible terms, but I believe the members who took it to disenfranchise voters and incited this violence must be removed from Congress. Bush said in a statement in which she accused the objectors of playing a role in the violent storming of the Capitol and thereby being complicit in an insurrection. I actually read that a little bit earlier. Hawley also said that those who attack police and broke the law must be prosecuted. On the House side, newly elected Rep. Cori Bush, Democrat from Missouri, introduced a resolution calling for the Republican representatives who objected to the Electoral College to be expelled from Congress. The resolution cites the 14th Amendment, which states that no one who has sworn an oath as a member of Congress can serve if they have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. All right. So this is something that is new coming through the pipeline as of 8 hours ago. That was something that I must have missed.
Finally, a new year, and Tubi is turning.
All right, here we go. Give you a link to this the chat. All right. So, the Supreme Court rejected requests to speedily hear a number of challenges to the 2020 presidential election brought by President Trump and others. So once again, this is a Fox News article. Supreme Court denies expedited hearings for election challenges by Trump allies. Supreme Court orders all but guarantee that the challenges will not be heard before Biden takes office. That's right, Ron Blitzer and Bill Mears of Fox News. In a series of orders issued Monday morning, the court said it would not expedite consideration on whether it would ultimately hear the cases, which included challenges of the election results in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, and Georgia. The motions of petitioners to expedite consideration of the petitions of writs for writs of certiorari are denied, the Supreme Court said regarding each one. The move will effectively prevent the issue being considered for full review by the High Court before President-elect Joe Biden takes office next week. And one case was a Michigan lawsuit in which attorney Sidney Powell, the Kraken, oh my God, I'm going to unleash the Kraken. All right, on behalf of Republican electors, alleged unlawful counting of hundreds of thousands of illegal, ineligible, duplicate, and purely fictitious ballots. This was one of several cases Powell referred to as the Kraken, which were all rejected by lower courts. Whoever wrote that, boy, they added that part in. In the Michigan case, U.S. District Court Judge Linda Parker said that because the election had already taken place and its results had been certified, it was too late to grant the injunction Powell sought, which would have included blocking state officials from sending the election results to the Electoral College, and in order to send certified results that named President Trump as the winner. Mark Elias, an attorney on President-elect Joe Biden's legal team, said that Monday was a bad day for the Kraken and a good day for democracy. Woo! Bad day for the Kraken, good day for democracy. Oh my God! In other cases, the other cases brought by Trump supporters included one brought by Representative Mike Kelly, a representative from Pennsylvania, one by Arizona Republican Party Chair Kelly Ward in her home state, and one by Attorney Lynn Wood that challenged the results in Georgia. The Supreme Court also denied requests for expedited consideration in cases brought by Trump in his campaign in Wisconsin, as well as one brought by Trump in Pennsylvania. In other cases brought by Georgia Republican electors represented by Powell and Wood also received an adverse ruling. In that case, the electors had requested emergency consideration of a request for a writ of mandamus that would have vacated a lower court order. That order denied their request to decertify the Georgia election results due to alleged fraud. All of the other cases remain on the docket, but the justices have indicated they are in no hurry to resolve the disputes anytime soon. Oh my God! The Kraken gets a smacking. The Kraken gets a smacking. Trump attorney overseeing Pennsylvania lawsuit quits after repugnant Capitol riots. Your lawyers are quitting. It's time to stop. Trump, where is Fred Trump? Where is Trump's daddy? Where is Trump's parents? Where is his parents? It's time to stop. Oh my God. The Kraken took a smacking. You know, I'm gonna go back to the news, man, because I just want to get back into the news. It's just too rich. It's too rich. Trump attorney overseeing Pennsylvania lawsuit quits after repugnant Capitol riots. White House officials and former Trump loyalists continue to resign in protest. An attorney for President Trump's campaign, Jerome M. Marcus, filed a motion Thursday to withdraw his services from a Pennsylvania lawsuit, joining the growing list of Trump staff and advisors to leave their posts after the attack on the U.S. Capitol. Marcus cited the Pennsylvania rule of professional conduct for its basis of removal from the lawsuit and said Trump had used the lawyer's services to perpetuate a crime in promoting the violent protest that occurred Wednesday. And I'm gonna give you a link to his filing to try to remove himself as the attorney, because that man said he ain't going down with that ship. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. A Pennsylvania attorney represented the Trump campaign in a federal case immediately after the election against the Philadelphia County Board of Elections, which sought to prove that Republican poll watchers were not granted access by county officials. Although Marcus later conceded to U.S. District Court Judge Paul Diamond that the Trump campaign, in fact, had a non-zero number of people in the room, meaning that poll watchers had access, according to the Washington Post. I want to give you a link to that too. Oh my God! I'll have to give you out links. There you go. Let's see if we in the chat right now. Before denying Trump's request to stop the court, Diamond asks, "I'm sorry, then what's your problem?" The case has not advanced since early November. Marcus called Trump's actions Wednesday repugnant. He was not alone in condemning the president for stoking anger and inciting violence through his repeated claims of a fraudulent election. Several White House staffers and high-level officials abruptly resigned. "I can't stay here," Mick Mulvaney, a special envoy to Northern Ireland and President Trump's former chief of staff, told NBC. He resigned with just 13 days left in Trump's presidency. He was joined by Trump's deputy national security advisor Matt Pottinger and Ryan Tooley, the senior director for European and Russian affairs at the U.S. National Security Council. White House Deputy Press Secretary Sarah Matthews, East Wing Chief of Staff Stephanie Grisham, and Social Secretary Ricky Nacita were among the first to submit their resignations Wednesday. Several White House officials cited Trump's conduct during the mob attack that forced lawmakers to hide in secure shelters, offices in the upper level in the House chamber as the basis for their resignation. Trump waited nearly an hour before telling rioters that had broken into the Capitol to remain peaceful, and he continued to attack Vice President Mike Pence while he was led away to shelter to protect him from pro-Trump supporters who attempted to stop the certification of the Electoral College results. Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution, giving states a chance to certify a corrected set of facts, not the fraudulent or inaccurate ones which they were asked to previously certify, Trump wrote in a tweet that has since been taken down by Twitter before the social media platform froze his account. USA demands the truth. Trump released a video asking the mob to go home, but proceeded to propagate his claims that the election was stolen from him and praised the violent crowd, telling them, "We love you and you're very special." Former Attorney General William Barr also condemned the rioters and the president as well, calling his conduct a betrayal. Orchestrating a mob to pressure Congress is inexcusable. Former Attorney General William Barr said in a statement to Fox News. The president's conduct yesterday was a betrayal of his office and supporters. Marcus could not be immediately reached for comment. So one of his attorneys just backed out of Pennsylvania. The guy who was overseeing it just said, "Goodbye." Oh my God. He said, "I'm out of here. I'm hitting the eject button. I'm skedaddling. I am about to just, transmogrify my body from this place." Let's head over to CNN. House Majority Leader Hoyer tells caucus that impeachment vote will be Wednesday. The impeachment vote will be on Wednesday. Guys, let me know how you feel about that. Let me know in the comments, guys. How do you feel about that? How do you feel?
Kamala Harris, who is the vice president-elect? I just knew she was a person of destiny. Hear personal stories from those who know her best and from Kamala Harris herself.
I don't care about Kamala Harris. This was posted 4 hours and 22 minutes ago, so it's today. On a call moments ago, House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer announced that the White House that the House will meet Wednesday to vote on impeaching President Trump. Sources on the call tell CNN. He said that tomorrow the House will vote at night on the measure offered by Representative Jamie Raskin to push Trump out via the 25th Amendment. According to the details from Hoyer's office, the House Majority Leader told members on the call that they should plan to return to Washington tomorrow to consider Raskin's resolution with votes at 7:30 p.m. at the earliest. The House will then meet at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday to consider the articles of impeachment. Hoyer also assured members that there will be heightened security in and around the Capitol for Wednesday's impeachment vote, according to a source on the caucus call. He also told members there is support for traveling to and from Washington after several members have faced tense interactions at airports. House Democrats formally introduced their resolution today to impeach Trump, charging him with incitement of insurrection for his role in last week's deadly U.S. Capitol attack. All right, this has been put up here as of 4 hours and 10 minutes ago. All right, Biden says he's not afraid to take oath of office outside despite security concerns after Capitol City riot. President-elect Joe Biden was asked today if he feels afraid of taking oath of office outside, given last week's attack at the U.S. Capitol. Biden's inauguration is set to take place in Washington, D.C. on January 20th. "No, I'm not afraid of taking the oath outside," he said, adding that it's critically important that there be a real serious focus on holding these folks who engage in sedition and threaten people's lives accountable. Asked by the pooler if he fears impeachment could delay consideration of the stimulus bill, Biden said he's talking to senators about whether they could still consider his cabinet nominees and stimulus proposals per the pooler. He said he has not heard back from the parliamentarian yet. Wow. D.C. Attorney General is looking at charging Trump and others for inciting violence. D.C. Attorney General Karl Racine said his office is looking at potentially charging President Trump and others for inciting violence when they spoke to a crowd that later breached the U.S. Capitol on January 6. Racine told MSNBC's Andrea Mitchell on Monday the investigation is ongoing, but he is looking at a charge that would apply where there is a clear recognition that one's incitement could lead to foreseeable violence. He called comments by Trump, his personal attorney Rudy Giuliani, his son Donald Trump Jr., and GOP Representative Mo Brooks that riled up the crowd that would later descend on the Capitol in a violent riot outrageous. Clearly, the crowd was hyped up, juiced up, and focused on the Capitol, and rather than calm them down or at least emphasize the peaceful nature of what protests need to be, they really did encourage these folks and rile them up, he said. Racine acknowledged the Office of Legal Counsel guidance discouraging the prosecution of a sitting president, but noted that Trump has only 9 days left in office, and that his office's investigation will go on much longer than that. I'm not targeting the president or anyone else, Racine assured, saying that his office and U.S. Attorney's Office will follow the facts. Here's another story here. Wrench Gang Collective, how you doing, Wrench Gang? Hey, Wrench Gang, you should actually call in. I would love to hear your opinion. Let me know what you think. I want to know what you think. I want to know what my viewers think, because once again, if you tell me, you tell me that you're in the chat, I'll jump in there, or you call in. You have free reign. I just want people to hear your voice so that you can advertise your channel, and I would love to shout out your channel again. All right, so House Democrat tests positive for COVID after sheltering with lawmakers who refuse to wear masks. Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman, a New York, Jersey Democrat, announced on Monday that she has tested positive for COVID-19, saying that she decided to get a test in the wake of the violent attack on the U.S. Capitol last week. Following the events of Wednesday, including sheltering with several colleagues who refused to wear masks, I decided to take a COVID test. I have tested positive, the Congresswoman tweeted. A statement from her office said that the Congresswoman believes she was exposed during protective isolation in the U.S. Capitol building as a result of the insurrectionist riots. As reported by multiple news outlets, a number of members within the space ignored instructions to wear masks. Some more context. CNN has previously reported that 6 House Republicans were captured on video refusing masks offered by a colleague during the U.S. Capitol insurrection. It's unclear whether Watson Coleman was in the safe location with the members who refused to wear masks. Lawmakers and Capitol staff on Sunday received a memo from the Capitol's attending physician warning of a possible risk of COVID-19 exposure after a large group of lawmakers were forced to gather in a secure location during the breach of the U.S. Capitol. On Wednesday, January 6th, many members of the House community were in protective isolation in a room located in a large committee hearing space. The time in this room was several hours for some and briefer for others. During this time, individuals may have been exposed to another occupant with coronavirus infection, Dr. Brian P. Monahan wrote. In the memo, Monahan instructed lawmakers and staff to monitor for possible COVID-19 symptoms and to be tested for COVID-19 as a precaution. All right, so that is from CNN politics. Let's go over to CNN coronavirus. So here we go. Post this in the chat. There's some very important news that's coming out of there, out of the UK. Post that again. There we go. The link should be posted right there. All right, so the link is posted right there. CDC reports more than 70,000, more than 70 U.S. cases of variant.
A grueling 10-hour shift in an ambulance in Los Angeles.
64.
CDC reports more than 70 U.S. cases of variant first identified in UK. At least 72 cases of a variant first identified in the UK have been found in 10 U.S. states, according to data posted Monday by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC. This includes at least 32 cases in California, at least 22 cases in Florida, 5 cases in Minnesota, 4 cases in New York, 3 cases in Colorado, 2 cases in Connecticut, and 1 case each in Texas, Pennsylvania, Indiana, and Georgia. CDC says this does not represent the total number of cases circulating in the U.S., but rather just those that have been found by analyzing positive samples. The agency cautions that its numbers may not immediately match those of state and local health departments. While the variant appears to spread more easily, there's no evidence that it's any more deadly or causes more severe disease, according to the CDC. The variant has also been identified in nearly 4 dozen countries worldwide. Experts suspect there could be many more cases in the country, and have criticized the U.S. for not doing more genetic sequencing of virus samples to surveil for mutations. Earlier this month, a CDC official told CNN the agency plans to more than double the number of samples it sequences by mid-January, with a target of 6,500 per week. All right. Portugal's president tests positive for coronavirus. Portugal's President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa has tested positive for coronavirus, but is asymptomatic, the Portuguese presidency official website announced Monday. Having the president of the Republic tested negative yesterday, and despite today's antigen test being negative, it is now known at 9:40 p.m. that the PCR test was positive, the statement said. The president of the Assembly of the Republic, the prime minister, and the health minister have all been informed of Rebelo de Sousa's health condition, and any upcoming appointments have been canceled, according to the statement. Among some of his appointments was a scheduled appearance on national television where Rebelo de Sousa was expected to face all of his opposition leaders in a debate on Tuesday, marking another important event in the lead up to the country's presidential elections on January 24th. Rebelo de Sousa had already started his series of in-person debate appearances, with his latest on Saturday against Ana Gomes of the Socialist Party. While it is unknown whether or not Gomes will have to self-isolate, the socialist candidate to the Portuguese presidency tweeted on Monday her wishes for the president's quick and frank recovery, and she hopes he continues to not show any symptoms. Portugal's Prime Minister Antonio Costa also reacted on Twitter, saying both have spoken over the phone, wishing the president his sincere wishes for a quick and complete recovery. Rebelo de Sousa will continue working at the presidential residence in Belém and will remain in isolation while awaiting further developments from a medical inquiry, the statement added. I ain't gonna even bother going for those long ass words. That's a great name. CDC says there is no maximum time to wait for a second coronavirus shot. There is no maximum time between a first and second coronavirus shot, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said Monday, in updated guidance about what people can expect from COVID-19 shots. The CDC indicated that Americans should not worry about too much time between the recommended time for a second dose of vaccine. Both COVID-19 mRNA vaccines will need 2 shots to get the most protection. The time between your first and second shots depends on which vaccine you receive, the CDC says in additions made to its website Monday. You should get your second shot for the Pfizer/BioNTech 3 weeks or 21 days after your first shot, and for the Moderna 1 month or 28 days after your first shot. It adds, you should get your second shot as close to the recommended 3-week or 1 month or 1 month interval as possible. However, there is no maximal interval between the first and second doses for either vaccine. You should not get the second dose earlier than the recommended interval. The World Health Organization, or WHO, said last week that people can wait for as long as 6 weeks between doses. Pfizer and Moderna both say they don't have any data on how long people can wait between doses and still get good protection. But the CDC, WHO, and other and companies and other experts all say people need to make sure they get 2 doses of coronavirus vaccine. Johnson & Johnson is finishing up trials for its vaccine, which is designed to only need a single dose. With most COVID-19 vaccines, you need 2 shots in order to, basically for them to work. Get the second shot even if you have side effects after the first shot, unless a vaccination provider or your doctor tells you not to get a second shot, the CDC said. It takes time for your body to build protection after any vaccination. COVID-19 vaccines that require 2 shots may not protect you until a week or 2 after your second shot. Let's go down here. More than 375,000 people have died from coronavirus in the U.S. There have been at least 22,557,929 cases of coronavirus in the U.S. and at least 375,576 people have died from the virus, according to a Johns Hopkins University tally. So far today, Johns Hopkins University has reported 148,797 new cases and 1,247 new deaths. At least 25,480,725 vaccine doses have been distributed, and at least 8,987,322 doses of the vaccine have been administered, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC. The total numbers of cases from all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and other U.S. territories, as well as repatriated cases. Indiana confirms case of COVID-19 variant identified in the UK. A case of the COVID-19 variant that was first identified in the UK has been diagnosed in Indiana. A spokesperson for the Indiana Department of Health confirmed to CNN in an email. A new strain of the virus that causes COVID-19 has been identified in Indiana. The strain, which was identified through testing at the Department of Health Laboratory and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the same one identified in the UK last fall. Megan Wade Taxter with the Indiana Department of Health said in an email. The state is not releasing any additional details about the case due to privacy laws. More than 50 cases of the new coronavirus variant have been found in the U.S. so far, according to the CDC. At least 2 gorillas at the San Diego Zoo test positive for COVID-19. At least 2 gorillas at the San Diego Zoo are infected with COVID-19, Governor Gavin Newsom announced Monday. 3 animals are currently showing symptoms, and it is suspected that the primates were infected by the asymptomatic staff member, according to a news release from the zoo. This is the first known instance of coronavirus in great apes, though previous research has shown that some non-human primates are susceptible to the virus. The gorilla troop lives together as a family, so it is assumed that all members have been exposed to the virus, zoo officials say. On Wednesday of last week, 2 San Diego Zoo gorillas began coughing. A preliminary test within the troop showed presence of the virus on Friday, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture, or USDA, and the National Veterinary Services Laboratories, or NVSL, confirmed the positive test today. It is unknown if the gorillas will have any serious reaction, the zoo said, but they are being closely monitored. Aside from some congestion and coughing, the gorillas are doing well, San Diego Zoo Safari Park Executive Director Lisa Peterson said. The troop remains quarantined together and are eating and drinking, and we are hopeful for a full recovery. San Diego Zoo has been closed to the public since early December. So basically, COVID-19 can in fact spread to primates. At least 2 gorillas at the San Diego Zoo test positive. So it can in fact spread to primates. Wow. Spain sees a sharp rise in COVID-19 over the weekend. Spain reported a sharp rise in number of coronavirus cases since Friday, making it one of the biggest weekend increases in infections so far. The Spanish Health Ministry reported 61,422 new infections since Friday, bringing the total to 2,111,782 total COVID-19 cases. The ministry also reported a dramatic increase in the number of Spaniards infected in the last 14 days, reaching 204,586. The director of the Center for Coordination of Health Alerts and Emergencies, Fernando Simon, said the evolution of the pandemic is in a clearly ascending phase and is a consequence of the behavior of recent days. We have had a better vacation than we should have done, and now we are seeing the consequences, Simon said. Social and family gatherings will be further restricted on the islands of Mallorca and Ibiza starting this weekend to try to curb the spread of the virus. The ministry reported a total of 52,275 deaths and a total of 16,792 people have been admitted to hospitals for COVID-19. Just over a quarter of intensive care beds are now occupied by COVID-19 patients. And that is right now going on right now in Spain. Let's go down here. West Virginia governor announces return to school for 8th grade and below. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice just announced that schools can reopen for in-person learning for 8th grade and below starting January 19th. Grades 9 to 12 will not be in school. During a Monday news conference, Justice said, I am signing an executive order to officially allow counties to return to an in-person learning. Additional guidance will be published by the State Board of Education later this week. Our medical experts believe our medical experts believe with all in them that the exposure for going back to school is extremely minimal, and from the standpoint of our eighth grade on down, it is very, very minimal, he said. And so they believe that it is absolutely safe. School sports practices will not be allowed to start until mid-February with an aim to return to games in March, Justice said. Justice said there's no playbook and there's no perfect answer on how to get back to normal during a pandemic. But the reality is very simple. Our kids are becoming devastated by not being in school. All right, so Biden received a second dose of Pfizer vaccine. BioNTech CEO cannot yet get the vaccine he helped develop. That is a crazy story. All right. Ugur Sahin, CEO of BioNTech, the German company that partnered with Pfizer to make a COVID-19 vaccine, said on Monday that he has not received his COVID-19 vaccine. But Sahin said he hopes to have his team members vaccinated in the coming weeks. We are not yet allowed to take our vaccine, but we have found a way to make the vaccine available also to the manufacturing teams, and we will hopefully get the team members and maybe myself also vaccinated in the coming weeks, Sahin told CNBC's Meg Terrell on Squawk Box. Excuse me, I'm making a damn vaccine. I will take one of those vials and just inject myself. Excuse you. COVID-19 cases continue to rise in New Jersey, likely due to holiday gatherings. The spread of coronavirus is increasing, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy said Monday, likely due to indoor massless gatherings around the December holidays. Murphy announced 5,042 new COVID-19 cases on Monday and 51 additional deaths. This is what we were afraid of, people letting their guard down over Christmas and New Year's, he said. Hospitalizations in the state are holding steady, with 3,653 people hospitalized with confirmed or suspected COVID-19 cases. Of those hospitalized, 649 are in ICU, or intensive care. Health Commissioner Judy, the Health Commissioner, the New Jersey Health Commissioner, I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name, screw that, reiterated on Monday that hospitalizations and deaths are so-called lagging indicators and may yet go up as a result of infections transmitted last month. The New Jersey Health Commissioner also added that the state has reported 2 new cases of COVID-related multi-symptom inflammatory syndrome in children. According to the governor, there have been 214,443 doses of COVID-19 vaccine distributed statewide, and 14,984 of those were administered as a second dose. Nearly 15,000 people have received a full course of vaccine statewide. Nearly 9 million people vaccinated against COVID-19 in the U.S., CDC says. All right, that's a very important news. All right, nearly 9 million people have received their first doses of COVID-19 vaccine against the coronavirus in the U.S., and nearly 25.5 million doses of vaccine have now been distributed. The U.S. Centers of Disease Control, or CDC, said Monday. As of Monday morning, 35.3% of doses distributed have been administered, compared to 30.2% on Friday. The CDC said that 25,480,725 doses of vaccine have been distributed as of 9 a.m. Monday, and 8,987,322 people have received their first dose of vaccine. The CDC also said Monday that 4,239,775 of the distributed doses had gone to the federal program for long-term care facilities, and 937,028 people in such facilities have received their first doses. The U.S. continues to struggle to catch up to the promised target of 20 million people vaccinated by the end of 2020. States have said they don't have enough staff or money to administer coronavirus vaccines at the needed rate. States increasingly dumping CDC recommendations and giving out coronavirus vaccines analysis fines. States are increasingly abandoning guidelines from the U.S. Centers of Disease Control, or CDC, and taking their own approaches to giving people coronavirus vaccines a new analysis finds. Overall, we find states are increasingly diverging from the CDC guidance and from each other, suggesting that access to COVID-19 vaccines in the first months of the U.S. vaccine campaign may depend a great deal on where one lives. The nonprofit Kaiser Family Foundation, which studies healthcare policy, said in a report issued Monday. In addition, timelines vary significantly across states, regardless of priority group, resulting in a vaccine rollout labyrinth across the country. The report finds 40 states are still in phase 1A, either fully or partially. 10 states and Washington, D.C. are in phase 1B. Only Michigan has moved to at least part of phase 1C. While all states in Washington, D.C. are giving priority to healthcare workers and long-term care residents and staff in phase 1A of their plans as recommended, they are increasingly taking their own tacks in phase 1B and 1C of their rollout. 10 states in Washington, D.C. have moved to phase 1B. For phase 1B, the CDC recommends vaccinating people ages 75 and older, and frontline essential workers such as firefighters, postal workers, teachers, and others. For phase 1C, the CDC recommends vaccinating people ages 65 and older, younger people with high risk conditions, and other essential workers. The Kaiser analysis found that 10 states have added their first responders, including law enforcement and firefighters, to phase 1A. These states are Arkansas, Georgia, Indiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Nevada, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Virginia, and Wyoming. Utah added K through 12 teachers and child care workers, while Louisiana limited healthcare workers to hospital staff only. 4 states added seniors to 1A group, people 65 and older in Georgia and Florida, and 75 and up in Tennessee, and 80 plus in West Virginia. 14 states follow CDC. Only 14 states follow CDC advice precisely on who should be in phase 1B, while 30 add extra age groups and others, including educators, prisoners, and the homeless. So, once again, guys, as you can see, the virus is very serious. It is not a joke. Even gorillas can get it. Oh my God. Even gorillas can get it. And they were showing symptoms. They were coughing. They had some inflammatory stuff. They had some congestions. The gorillas were showing symptoms. So if you see in gorilla, it's not a joke, guys. And the gorillas are doing great because they're fucking gorillas. They are gorillas. A gorilla can take infinitely more damage than you can take. Infinitely more damage than you can ever hope to take. They can survive things that you would never survive. They live in a jungle that you can never live in. Oh my God. They live in a jungle that you can never live in. They live amongst lions and shit. They can survive shit you can never goddamn survive. That's why they're doing fine. You are no gorilla. You are no gorilla. Their lifespan might not be as long as us, but while they are living, they can take a lot more than what we can take. Oh my God. They can take a lot more than what we can take. A lot more damage. A lot more sickness. They don't get nearly the amount of vaccinations and shit that we get, but they can survive a lot of fucking diseases that we can never fucking actually survive. It's not a joke, guys. The virus is not a game. It's not a game. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for Pitchfork Podcast. Thank you for joining me in, guys. Join in tomorrow. Share the stream out to everybody else. Share the phone number 253-203-6784 on your timeline. Share the stream on your timeline. Let people know that I run this podcast from 1 p.m. Pacific to 4 p.m. Or 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We run it about 3 to 4 hours. Typically, sometimes it'd be longer, sometimes it'd be shorter. Sometimes it'd be an all-day affair. But guys, let people know that I run this podcast because that's the only way people are going to know that I run this podcast. And I want to drive up engagement. With that being said, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Dion McNeil, aka Devil's Advocate. I am on Twitter. You can find me on Devil's Advocate on Twitter. I am on Twitch, Fuse Painter 86. I am on YouTube, Devil's Advocate. I am on Facebook. I am on Trovo. I am on D Live. I'm everywhere, guys. Let people know that I am everywhere. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for me. Horns up. Peace out. Be safe. Wear a mask. Don't get COVID. And stop storming the Capitol. Until next time, be safe. Love you all.